Someone in chat said, I'm in Australia and I know I've stayed up too late when I get a notification that D'Angelo is going live. So it's time to put on my retinol and get some shut-eye. Good night. Good night. And that's kind of funny to think of me being like a reverse alarm clock. But anyways, to the rest of you, hopefully that person catches this video when it goes live on Monday. But if you're here for the stream, welcome. It is Saturday, the final stream of the week. I feel like I have been so happy this week with the way content has been going. I think I put up 3 videos. I'm finally back on track. Streamed every time. I've enjoyed the topics, and today we definitely have some garbage. I have some just trash for you. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm here to deliver high art today. Long story short, there's a new Supergirl movie coming out, which I won't lie, I'm not like super interested in, but probably still will watch because I've been trying to go to the theater more. But whether the movie is good, looks good or not, even though I think it looks fine, there is this anti-woke hate campaign against the actress Millie Alcock for committing the cardinal sin of being a woman and noticing that people in the fan base are misogynist. So I've pulled a few examples of what I'm talking about. We will go over those soon. Anti-woke YouTube is never beating the allegations, dude. Like, these truly have to be some of the saddest people. And I'm also thinking about how, not now, because I keep the live streams relatively insular, but probably once the video goes live on Monday, give it a few days, I know I'm going to have anti-woke people in the comments. And it's funny too, because like, what are they going to call me? Black? Gay? I'm not, but yes, I am queer. Bald? Gorgeous? Talented? Impeccably dressed? I don't really know. I just feel like I'm so incapable of being her at this point, which is low-key why Millie Alcock is pissing people off, because she already said that she knew this was going to happen and she doesn't even seem offended. And I think people are just getting increasingly granular with making up things to be mad about towards her. When it hit the point where they were out here trying to pretend like she's ugly, I was like, okay, y'all are just lying. But anyways, all of that and more we will be getting into in a bit. If you're new to the stream and you're wondering what the sort... I smacked my mic. If you're new to the stream and you're wondering what the sort of setup is, hi and welcome. The first 30 minutes or so is exactly what you're getting now, which is just a yap session. And then usually around the 30-minute mark, that's when we'll get into today's topic, which, as you see, I have thoughts about. But yeah, I also am going to use this topic to talk a little bit about Amandla Stenberg, Brie Larson, who I've mentioned a couple times, so that I want to go a little bit like more in depth into why I think this is obviously all part of the same issue. Who else did I have in my outline today? I feel like I put one. Oh, Rachel Zegler. I put in a few little lines. We're going to be talking about multiple women here. But yeah, anytime you get a fan base that is like, well, anyways, you'll see. You shall see. You really, really shall. Someone said just being mad to be mad. It's very much that, but also, as I'm going to like point out, even though this is not like, this is a cold take on my part, but it's just fascinating how it's like, because you disagree with her politics, when her politics are like, hey, stop being misogynist and racist or whatever, you find any and every reason to pretend like you actually hate the movie, or you think that she's unlikable, or something is wrong. It's like no one can ever just admit, like, I don't think I should ever be called out for my bad opinions by the actresses and the things I want to watch. So you have to pretend actually, well, Rachel Zegler is not white enough to play Snow White, or Brie Larson is, I don't know, unlikable, so we can't do Captain Marvel. Millie Alcock is ... annoying, therefore we can't do Supergirl. But really, people, as you're going to see, are mostly just mad that she has been routinely calling out these annoying misogynist dogs. So it's cringe, dog. It's goodbye. I know. Someone said, why do people hate on Rachel Zegler's jaw movements? They literally make fun of the way she just says individual words, and it's like, y'all never learned the lesson from the Disney Channel that the bullies were in the wrong. Y'all were like, oh, this is a tutorial. Nah, we learned nothing from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, dog. Someone said, remember when they made the Ghostbusters movie with female leads? Dudes online were losing it. Yeah, it's annoying. One thing I have in here, wait, I'm talking about this so much before we get there, but I will say this one little thing before I switch off. I also talk about, as I said, Amandla Stenberg, and Halle Bailey comes up as well. Two black women who were getting hella racist hatred. I mean, Amandla is also non-binary, but I was thinking, like, what really bothers me about a lot of this is, on the surface, it's like, ha ha, not really funny, but people online are being annoying. But like, beneath it, it is quite literally that you want the group of people you're talking about to disappear. And that's the part that I always start getting the ick, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is literally just a bunch of commentary from people who would rather, in this case, black women, just never be seen, or women in spaces where a lot of men are consuming the content, black or not, white women, we just don't want to see them. I hate it here. Someone said, reading chat. Someone said, Lupita Nyong'o accepting to play Helen of Troy is doing y'all a favor. Oh, she's getting hate too. Yeah, no, like, hold on a second. This is the part that's really getting to me about this. I may even mention this in the video if I remember to. Helen of Troy is supposed to be, I believe, a very beautiful character, a very beautiful figure, someone whose face would like lead people honestly to act up, I think, is sort of the point. And if we're really out here trying to act like the standard for ethereal, the very first picture that comes up, how is this bad casting? Y'all have to like move heaven and earth to pretend like, look, we're gonna sit here and act like Lupita Nyong'o is not the kind of person who would be noticed. Dog. Nah. Anyways, all that to say, I have some strong thoughts and opinions. They're not new. This is all stuff we already know. I'm gonna turn on some fans in here. I don't know what's going on. The air, it needs to circulate. I'm gonna turn on my little fan and my overhead. I'm back. All right. Someone said Helen's supposed to be gorgeous, but I hate people calling her Helen of Troy. She's Helen of Sparta. Sorry if I'm messing it up. It's not intentional. Truly not. Someone said I'm anti-woke. Dog, same. I'm over it at this point. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I try to make sure I'm not talking too much about anti-woke content because truly it's an endless pipeline. But I just feel like in this specific case, I am seeing something new. In my experience, it's not every day that you see an actress predict an anti-woke hate train before it happens and then just ignore everybody as they continue to prove her right again and again and again. All while she's pretty young too. I mean, I think she's pretty young, 26. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old or something. But anyways, yeah. Good things in store. Reading chat. Someone said this version of Supergirl isn't adorable and conservative friendly. She's traumatized and basically female John Wick. Yo, John Wick is a crazy movie. Y'all ever watch that? To be honest, I would do the same for my dog. I don't have a dog, but I just feel like, no, I shouldn't say that. John Wick did so many bad things in that movie. But like, all I'm saying is you shouldn't mess with people's dogs. That's all I'm saying right now. Someone said it's okay, we're cool if you're becoming one of those creators. I think the thing for me is I literally get tired of it. Like, I'm good to talk about this today and the extent of the nonsense that I'll be dealing with in my comment section after the fact, but like constantly courting this sort of viewership, I think, is just so cringe. Like, it's good that people do this, but I don't even want... I don't want to deal with it. Call me whatever you will, triggered or I need to save space, but like genuinely, if people were actually bringing up decent points or valid discourse that was making me think about anything, maybe it would be more fun. But when all y'all do is lie, womp. Someone said I get sad thinking you don't really live in that pink room. It would be nice to see something like this in real life. I don't know how or where that would happen. Or maybe it would be incredibly uncomfortable as if I was in the back rooms. But I wish I did have like a real-ish version of my set. It would be fun. Someone said, I saw John Wick last year for the first time and it was booty cheeks. Well, to be fair, I'm pretty sure when I watched John Wick the first time, I was like 13? I don't know. So I'm going off of a very old memory. Wait, I might be wrong about that. Heike. John Wick 1 release date. 2014, which was 12 years ago. Okay, so I was probably 15 or something like that. Yeah, I watched this as a teenage boy, so I thought it was great. Can't speak to it now. Someone said I watched Backrooms after your recommendation and I loved it. That makes me happy. Yo, I'm glad. I again, like I said about it the first time, if you're into a very specific kind of like liminal, not super scary, but definitely kind of interesting horror, you'll enjoy that movie. So yay. Someone said I've never seen John Wick. It's not a necessity. It's just your run-of-the-mill action flick. I think it's known for being like a bit more violent than most of them. And, you know, Keanu Reeves, people are a fan of him. Someone said, I get why people like John Wick. I just don't think shooting guns is that interesting. Literally, this would be the most boring movie imaginable if you're not into guns, because that's all it is for, I think, literally 90 minutes to 2 hours. It's the same thing over and over and over. Someone said, D'Angelo, do you have a Moira Rose impression? I am very bad at impressions in general, especially for people who do speak in interesting ways. So I unfortunately cannot whip out my Moira Rose impression. I will say, though, I do try to incorporate at least 3 to 5% of a Moira Rose energy at all times. So you may not get an impression from me, but I'm always trying to be just a little bit extra. Still a big influence on me for sure. Yes. Yo, someone said they finished their first trail half marathon. Good work. That's a big deal. You ran 13.2 miles on the trail. That is fantastic. You should genuinely be proud of yourself. Reading chat, someone said, I'm actually so glad that the Backrooms movie exists. It shows that YouTube is actually art, not just silly people playing games. YouTube is all the things, right? Like, it is also, I'm here being silly. I'm not making art. But there are literally people who use this platform as a launch pad to create the most amazing things. And I don't think those people should be written off just because they're YouTubers. So it makes me happy to see things like Backrooms popping off. Someone said 4,000 feet elevation, by the way. That is crazy. That is wild. Someone said, where do I watch the Backrooms anyway? In theaters, but if you don't want to do that, I'm sure you can wait and it'll pop up somewhere else. You know, maybe on streaming or somewhere else. I can't speak to that. Yo ho ho. Someone said you are the art. Thank you. Exactly. Look at the material. Let's go. Someone said I woke up early. I'm not used to it. I try to wake up early. I do mostly nowadays, but like getting used to getting up early is the most difficult thing. I swear to God, there's a level of tired where your eyes literally hurt. And that is me when I am trying to get back into the swing of like waking up early. My eyes hurt so bad. It's bad. Someone said, I just don't like the studio trying to find more Reddit stories to make into movies. It's like the whole Wattpad thing, profiting off of other people's work. I mean, I see what you're saying. I guess it does get very, like, questionable when things belong to a collective or a community, and it's not easy to pinpoint which individual should be profiting the most off of it. And yeah, something like Backrooms, I guess, is not Cain Parsons' original idea. However, he did definitely create a lot of original art based off of it. So yeah, I guess it gets increasingly trickier of how exactly do we go from here. And then you have some stories that are like based off of existing IPs, but then they're changed and then those things get adapted. So it's wild, man. Someone said, D'Angelo, do you have Letterboxd? I would like to know your top 4 movies. I don't have Letterboxd, but I can probably give you my top 4 movies right now. Probably. I think my number 1 movie, even though I may have given different answers. By the way, if somebody clips and they're like, he literally said he had a different top 1 in a different day, I am aware. Anyways, right now, probably my top 4 movies would be Fantastic Mr. Fox, which never, ever leaves my top 3 ever. Dog, I swear to God, this is gonna sound stupid, but this movie literally made me feel less alone. There's something about the character of Mr. Fox, who is not really a good person, but is just somewhat charming. And they're for gets away with more things than he should. And I was like, I didn't know how to live in a way without blowing your whole life up. And I learned it from this movie. There's a fine balance between wanting to be God's gift to earth and not blowing your whole life up. So, Fantastic Mr. Fox, amazing movie. I could probably quote the entire thing right here and right now if I wanted to. And I'm going to say these are in no particular order, by the way. One of my top 4, without a doubt, would be Interstellar, a movie that I have been in love with ever since it was released. I don't care if this is Christopher Nolan's best or not. I don't care if it's overrated. Just, I'm thinking about those Hans Zimmer chords popping up in the cornfield scene. I'm thinking about the way this movie feels. The twist, which I'm not gonna lie, in retrospect feels kind of obvious, but everything about this movie is so movie-ish to me in a way that I can't get enough of. So we've got Fantastic Mr. Fox, we've got Interstellar. A recent addition to this would be Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I also feel like is another example of a movie where I learned a lot. I feel like it's a main character who has a lot of struggles for a lot of reasons. And by the way, if you've ever watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, all film is open to limitless interpretation, right? But my interpretation, dog, this is literally such an obviously ADHD themed movie. Now, like, don't get mad if you disagree. I'm just saying this is my perspective on it. But like, this is literally literally the story of, it's a story of a lot of things, but the thing that I really couldn't get over, I was just like, dog, Evelyn has ADHD, something fierce, and always has. And doesn't know, probably. But anyways, that wasn't the main point of the movie. That was just one little read on it, but I like it, and through that lens, it's fantastic. It's great. Someone said this movie is human. I love it so much. Someone said that movie is very ADHD friendly. That too. One of the best picture winners. And then for my 4th, I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't think of a 4th one off the top of my head. There's a lot of movies that I like a lot, maybe ones I've seen recently, but I need some more time for them to settle. But yeah, this is my top 3 for you: Fantastic Mr. Fox, Interstellar, and Everything Ever All at Once, in no particular order. Yay! Someone said, have you watched Iron Lung? I did, and I was very impressed. That was my takeaway. Like, not a perfect movie by any means, but like, it was pretty wild seeing what somebody could do with such a small budget. So I was happy for Markiplier and all the people who worked on it. Someone said, any horror movies like Hereditary? I mean, I've talked about this before when we talked about Obsession, but like, for sure. Wait, I shouldn't Google this because I don't know what's gonna pop up if I'm being real with you. Okay, this is maybe fine. I really like The Witch, like Robert Eggers' style of like weird horror. I kind of like all of his movies, if I'm not lying. So like The Witch, The Lighthouse, I like that one. I could see people not liking that movie. I liked Nosferatu, and I don't even know if it was particularly good. I don't know. There. Hold on. Let me find a picture. Of that one. Okay. Yeah. So, like, Robert Eggers' take on Nosferatu with Lily Rose Depp and who else? Nicholas Hoult is in this. A bunch of other great actors. I still cannot decide whether or not this is a good movie, but I can't live a lie. I love this film. I'm sorry. I like this movie because it's just utterly ridiculous, but it's also like a lot of work put into it, and it has a vibe, it has atmosphere. It's the type of movie that makes me realize like I must just be easy to entertain. So yeah, if you start viewing horror through that lens, I can be a pretty big fan of it. I'm not like the biggest like slasher fan, I guess, or anything like that. Someone said Nosferatu was so fire. Dude, I liked it. I don't know. I can't. Someone said it was such a silly movie. I like the aesthetic. It was very much a silly movie for sure. So over the top. Reading chat in chat. Someone says we should be allowed to like films that aren't high art. Certainly, yeah. No, like enough guilty pleasures It's either a pleasure or it's not. I have no guilt over liking a movie that is just ridiculous. Someone said I need to see Leviticus, but it isn't showing here. I saw trailers for that when I was watching like Obsession and a couple other films. It's that one with the two guys, right? And they have a thing going, but like one of them, something weird happens. Sorry, that was so vague. To be fair, the trailer is kind of vague, but you know what it reminded me of? There's this anime called The Summer Hikaru Died, where it's actually a pretty similar setup. It's these two kids and they're in a small town. They might like each other, or one or the other, who knows? But like, then essentially something happens to one of them. And it's very odd. I thought that one was pretty fun, but like, I was like, we're getting two of these stories back to back. I'm not complaining. I'm not mad. Someone said The Summer Hikaru Died. Yeah, no, that one I thought the animation was like amazing, and I really, really liked the editing on that one. I felt like it was unique. Someone said Holy Peak mentioned. It was good, bro. I ain't mad. I brought that one up. I forget to whom, and they tried to give me a warning, and they were like, just so you know, that one's like gay as hell. And I was like, is this a warning or an encouragement? Like, let's go. Someone said I started the manga years back, but I don't like gore. Oh, if you don't, then you shouldn't watch that. Yeah, no, it's like, ugh, it's kind of grody visually. Oh no. Someone said, are you watching Watch Out Atelier? That anime is so good and so is the manga. I'm waiting for there to be more episodes. Because I've literally only heard good things about it. And I don't know how cozy that one is, so I don't want to sound like an idiot, but I like that sort of semi-cozy style. Like Dungeon Meshi is one that I'm a really, really big fan of. So someone said sounds like endorsement to me. Exactly. Someone said it's so refreshing seeing more not so subtle gay media come out. Funny you mentioned that, because in about 2.5 minutes when we start talking about Supergirl, that's one of the points that comes up. She didn't say this in these exact words, but I'm happy to extrapolate. Like, you get characters that are not explicitly considered to be like LGBTQ, whichever one they are. And so because of this, fans have had to do a lot of reading between the lines, even though, by the way, there is a lot of like queer stuff going on with Supergirl canonically. But I agree that, like, for as happy as I am to headcanon and make the characters what I want them to be, it is nice just seeing a character who is literally just like, yeah, this character is gay. This character is a woman and has a girlfriend. This character is transgender. This character uses they, them pronouns. I think, like, I like both. I like the subtext, and I just say it, bro, please. Someone said, what's your opinion on Archive of Our Own and fanfiction becoming so mainstream? I can't say that I have too big of an opinion. I've mentioned this before, but I was not one of those fan fiction people. I was one of those fan artist people. So for every fan fiction that you read that had an illustration that somebody pulled from somebody's Tumblr, that might have been my Tumblr. I did a lot of fan art. And so I never really approached it from a writing perspective, because as interested as I am in writing, it wasn't something I ever had the patience or dedication or discipline to do. So yeah, I'm tangentially interested in this conversation for sure, because like, I agree it is becoming mainstream, which is causing a lot of complications, dare I say. But yeah, I was a fan artist, not a fanfic writer. Someone said painting my walls pink at the moment. Are you really? I feel like pink in the proper shades can be such a calming color, for real. It gets a bad rap, I think, for like being gaudy or whatever. But first of all, what's wrong with being gaudy? First of all, and then also there are very many calming, just soul restoring shades of pink as well. Drinking some water. Someone said I didn't know you were on Tumblr. It's a whole long story. Someone said, I want to see your art. I know you showed something you did in stream months ago, but I missed it. Keep watching and you'll probably see it again. I don't have any on me right this second, but I'm still out here doing things, and I have all my old stuff saved, thankfully. Someone said I hated it forever because of Barbie. Nah, pink is always going to grow on you. Someone said pink is your son's power color. It has a lot of power to it. It's a big color, dude. It's a very big color, but it can be small as well. All right. I'm happy with the way this conversation went. What did we talk about? Pink, me forgetting everything that came before. All right, I'm turning my computer on. I'm getting my second monitor together. Someone said I listened to the Supergirl official soundtrack and I'm excited for the movie. I haven't listened to it, but I would. I love me movie soundtracks, and I'm not gonna lie to you. There are some movies where I don't even like the movie, but I still like the music. I am not above. Excuse me. Not above being a fan of a soundtrack without actually caring about the movie at all. I would say I'm that way with Man of Steel. Like, I'm really not the biggest fan of that movie for various reasons, but the soundtrack I do feel like goes pretty hard. I think that might be Zimmer again. I was such an unabashed like Hans Zimmer fan when I was younger, and probably still now. I don't know why I'm trying to distance myself from this behavior. All right. I'm gonna do one final drinking of water. You are all going to say hi to YouTube, and then we're just gonna get started, bro. We're gonna hop right into it. Everybody say hi. I'm gonna hit record right now. Okay, say hello. Remember, it's June. You can put as many rainbow emojis in your hello as you want to. We won't ban you. We also wouldn't do that any of the other 11 months, but now's the time. All right, I'm ready for this. There are some things you can just always count on. The sky typically being blue, gravity usually brings things down instead of sending them up, and anti-woke YouTubers are going to continue to be the absolute plague of this platform, the worst, least talented and creative people making content for just, well, bigots, really. And today I'd like to talk about Supergirl, the actress playing her, Millie Alcock, and this new anti-woke backlash against her for daring to do the horrible sin of existing as a woman while noticing misogyny and calling it out gently, dare I say. All right, that was fun. I liked that one. Let's go. All right, no more highs. I'm gonna drink some water. Someone said, okay, intro. You know the intro 8. Thank you. There's one thing I will always be proud of, and that's my intros. I usually just brainstorm them off the fly. They're not that good, but they are good enough. I know my intro is going to get you staying for at least 30 seconds, which is what I try to do. I have a lot of little tips and tricks for them too. Like, start with a question. Start with something that is broken up into multiple pieces that you have to stay for. I'd be on it. Someone said she shouldn't have to be gentle about it. I agree. If she just wanted to put her foot down and just be like, y'all suck, I also wouldn't be mad at her. But this is Millie Alcock, a 26-year-old Australian actress who obviously her career is on the rise if now she's playing Supergirl in the upcoming movie. I've actually seen her before in something on Netflix called Sirens, which I don't know if that was actually a good show. It's in that weird middle space that a lot of Netflix content is, but I thought she was pretty good in it. That's all I know. I think probably most people would know her more so from what was that Game of Thrones thing that she did? Sorry, I am so not a Game of Thrones head. I really am not. I swear to God, she was in something. Oh, it's House of the Dragon. Okay, I'm a terrible. I'm bad. House of the Dragon. Everybody would know this, probably. But here I am, just like, oh yeah, I saw her in that one weird Netflix thing that nobody watched. Someone said we love Millie in this house. Yeah, she's relatively controversy free. But anyways, typically, I will not cover instances of anti-woke people just continuing to be anti-woke because, as mentioned, the story never changes. But I do genuinely believe this one has a couple of unique parts to it. Specifically, Millie Alcock predicted all of this And now everybody is literally just proving her right again and again and again. All right, let's see. Someone said Sirens was not a bad series, it was just silly. I felt it was silly. I did, and I didn't think it was bad, no. Supergirl star Millie Alcock says, and this is a few months ago, I really can't stop backlash and understands why Scorsese and Ridley Scott criticize superhero movies. Not every film is for everyone. So she said, she told Vanity Fair, she's aware she'll face backlash over leading Warner Bros. Supergirl simply because she's playing a female superhero. I feel like this is the part where if there is any anti-woke people watching, we can finally diverge. Obviously, she is correct. I think the weirdest thing about this sort of group, I don't know what to call them, anti-fan base, they will pretend that this is not the reason, that they constantly rage at all of these actresses. I'm going to bring up a few more examples later on in this video, but it's just this. Y'all hate women. The 25-year-old, at that point, actor is no stranger to dealing with intense fandoms, having broke out on the Game of Thrones prequel series, House of the Dragon. It definitely made me aware that simply existing as a woman in that space is something that people comment on. We have become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies. I can't really stop them. I can only be myself. These are literally the words that launched like 1,000 YouTube think pieces about how she is now single-handedly ruining the DC extended universe. The movie is obviously going to bomb. It can't possibly be good while led by someone like this. I just... Let's get into it. Someone said, worst thing a celebrity woman can do is be annoying. Yeah, annoying, as you put in quotes, because the annoyance in general is like breathing or just commenting on reality as it actually exists. By the way, I saw this quote earlier that I was just kind of thinking about. I have tried to make this point in other videos, and I always word it super convoluted, but comedian Taylor Tomlinson said, the world hates a woman with boundaries more than a man with allegations, which says a lot about what society expects from women and what it tolerates from men. This is kind of what I'm getting at. You would genuinely think from the way that people are reacting to her that she like kicked a puppy or did something legitimately horrendous, but she literally just had the audacity to say, people are pretty bad. So, sorry, give me a sec, chat. Pulling the first of these videos I wanted to comment on. All right, I'm gonna have to adjust the volume. Now, I just feel like such a doofus, really, pulling random anti-woke videos on YouTube, but I would like to illustrate my point just so that people see I'm not making things up. I'm not exaggerating the extent of this hate train. Let's see. If you're wondering, how could these statements possibly be interpreted in a bad way? Look no further than your average bottom-feeding anti-woke YouTuber. I don't know who this person is, and I assure you I don't care.
Released the second trailer for Supergirl. Millie Alcock was saying something about how people feel like they have ownership over women's bodies or something like that, and it was basically my take on it was just, please don't talk like this. Like that kind of talk, the way you frame it, it's gonna, I know it's gonna get people riled, and you don't.
Which people? Which people is it going to get riled? There are some people in this world that it's okay to upset, and I would say misogynists are one of them.
Need to make like Supergirl into, you know, anything about sexism or feminism or anything like that, because that's what's brought down other movies lately, like Captain Marvel, The Marvels, and things like that.
You heard it here first, folks. Why would you make Supergirl about feminism? Anyways, so you get into the comments and it's just a lot of the same things that are always happening.
Anyway,
please, I'm over it, dude. I'm over it. Someone said yikes on a bike, dude. Yeah, no, this genre of content creator is wild to me. Top comment immediately mentioning Rachel Zegler, who I'm gonna go there later. Because that strategy worked out so well for Rachel Zegler, someone said. Weird. They're making fun of the fact that she pointed out the original Snow White movie is actually kind of weird if you think about it. Insanity is Hollywood insulting audiences over and over and expecting a different result. Again, y'all keep conflating audiences with y'all, who is misogynist. I'm not insulted. Like I said, I am actually someone who doesn't mind watching the Supergirl movie. I'm not a huge DC fan, but it seems like a fine way to pass a couple of hours. And lo and behold, I don't really feel like Millie Alcock hates me or doesn't want me to see this film. Reading chat. Someone said, I doubt this creator is anti-woke, or at least I saw many of her videos on woke media. Maybe this is a bad take from her, but I don't think she's terrible, or maybe I got all of her good takes. Okay, well, hold on. Now this is tricky. I feel like if you're framing this as Supergirl actress Millie Alcock attacks 50% of the audience, and then I literally clicked in to make sure this wasn't some sort of clickbait and literally saying this isn't a good idea, because you're going to get people riled up. And then all the people in the comments are bringing up Rachel Zegler, previous examples of anti-woke hate trains. That was sort of my thought process. Now, if you're saying that this person is not doing that, that's fine. I guess I should double check, maybe one last double check before I use this as an example, but I have other videos in here too. Someone said that's a very anti-woke title, not gonna lie. Yeah, no, I definitely I'll double check. I'll double check, but I'm just going off of what I've seen. Someone said, no, I do think she's anti-woke. Someone said Jezebel also hates modern Harley because feminist. Yeah, I would mostly be surprised if this wasn't that. Because it is literally it being this video is completely dressed up as all the other examples of anti-woke stuff I have in here. Someone said Jezebel is absolutely part of the anti-woke crowd. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna move on from that. But thanks for bringing it up. I don't want to misrepresent people. I just personally have no other way of interpreting this. Literally. Anyways, people making jokes, obviously. If you have zero audience, can you really offend 50% of nothing? Again, reinforcing this idea that literally nobody is going to watch this film. And you know what? Maybe it will bomb. I don't want that to happen, but I think pretending, if it does, that it was due to Millie Alcock's, I don't know, she hasn't done anything, it would just be ridiculous. Reading chat. Okay, yeah. And then lastly from this one, I'll pull, blaming the audience before the film is out is quite something. And again, you're going to notice that for every point Alcock brings up, it gets twisted into some sort of idea of how she must hate the viewers of this franchise. It's just not true. Someone said there's been a weird uptick in women making subtly conservative media criticism videos. That's very true. That is very true. Hold on, that's complex, right? Because I'm not a woman. But I can still call things bad and stupid when they happen. And I'm not gonna lie. Just thinking that you are somehow going to be immune to men's hatred of women, because I'm not talking about this person specifically, but people who do this, because you're going to play into their misogyny and be like, well, I also think this woman is bad. And you think what you're getting in your comment section is some sort of validation. You think it's something, but it's not that. Or maybe you're just a ruthless business person and it's all about the cash. Either way, from the outside, it looks pretty dumb. I'm not gonna lie. Someone said grifting is a disease. It's not good no matter who does it, frankly. All right, so for this next video I wanted to get into, you first have to see what Millie Alcock has been saying about Supergirl potentially being queer, or rather being interpreted by queer being interpreted as queer by fans of the series. She was asked about this on the red carpet interview. Oh, wait, it's muted, so never mind. There we go.
The years.
I'm gonna turn it up a little for you all. Can you hear it a little bit easier? Okay, take two. Sorry, chat.
The years. Many fans have embraced Supergirl as a queer icon. What do you think is about Kara that inspires that kind of connection?
I think I played a few characters that might have a potential queer through line. I have many queer friends, so honestly, I'm kind of honored. I'm honored that that's happening. But
To think that there is a non-zero subset of people that would have been happier if she had stood up there and said, well, everyone who believes this is wrong. Queer people, go find your own entertainment.
I think because she doesn't live inside the binary of what we think a woman should be, that is what makes her so special and so exciting and so new. And yeah, I kind of thought that as well. I was like, she'd do what she'd want to do in that regard anyway. But yeah, I think.
God forbid you use words like binary or, I don't know, women in general. Reading chat, someone said, I love that she puts the idea of Supergirl being bi. People just love not including queer in comic scenes. They don't want to see it. But anyways, and then despite people predictably acting a fool about that, Millie has actually just gone harder into this stance, which I'm not going to lie, respects. Hold on. Let me pull this one for you.
A lot of discussion online about Kara's queerness.
Wait, sorry, that's kind of like loud. I'm gonna bring this down maybe to like 200.
In the comics, was that something that you explored when you were preparing for the role?
It wasn't, but in honor of Pride Month, as I'm getting all these questions.
Okay, wait, sorry. We'll go right here.
As I'm getting all these.
I am literally so bad at moving bars. Third time's the charm.
Preparing for the role?
It wasn't, but in honor of Pride Month, as I'm getting all these questions. I don't know. I think that what makes this film so beautiful is that it's not centered around a man. It's not centered around love at all. Exactly. If anything.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't really know, but I don't know. I don't know.
It's great.
She'd probably go both ways.
She said it. She'd probably go both ways. Yeah, she's saying all the wrong things. We're not making a male-centric film for men. Not every film is for everybody. I like that people interpret her as a queer icon. She's not in the binary of what we think women should be. And so go ahead and guess how this is being interpreted in the space. Let's see. Pulling this right here. Someone says so true of her. Yeah, y'all see what I'm saying about how she's not even saying anything that's like inflammatory? Even if she was, that still wouldn't be a reason to hate on her, to do the whole anti-woke industrial complex. But like, dog, it's wild. So I guess pulling this from, doesn't matter the individual channels. You are literally like sharing a single brain cell. But this podcast of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 men are all here to share what they think about her statement, which is fantastic. Let me turn this up for you. I tried to turn this up. Okay, whatever. That's probably fine.
She has said a word or two, and
it keeps getting worse.
It keeps getting worse. And somebody, I liked her casting. I liked her in House of the Dragon, but she is getting very Zegler-esque at this.
Y'all's obsession with Rachel Zegler literally needs to be studied. I say this as somebody who is unwell. Y'all are unwell about this person.
Point. Maybe not as annoying, but certainly as stupid.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's not Rachel Zegler levels of retardation.
Well, I think one.
Why did I forget that there was a slur in here? YouTube, please don't get mad at me. But anyways, also, I think about how I'm literally like constantly working to not get demonetized because this is still my job. And I still struggle a little bit on that front. I don't complain about this too much because it's boring. But then you have people on here literally just dropping slurs like it's nothing. YouTube, if you ever want to explain that one to me someday, feel free. My inbox is open. Maybe we could sit down and figure out what actually constitutes hate on this platform. But anyways, someone said, I'm tired, boss. Me too. And I'm sorry, by the way, I literally just did not mean to let it play for that long. I wrote down that I was supposed to stop it at 0:52. So cringe. Anyways, again, like clockwork, hundreds of comments. I was expecting her to take off the mask, and it was Rachel Zegler all along. This group chat with Superman will get more views than the Supergirl movie. If you're wondering what that means, by the way, it's kind of hard to tell because there are literally so many people in this video, but let me mute it. One of the people here is actually literally Dean Cain. Which, if you don't know why that is such an issue, I'm finna explain it. Dog, this is just embarrassing. I mean, he's a very embarrassing figure for other reasons, but we are really, really reaching new lows here. Let's see. Some of the comments on videos like these make me so sad. I know. Dean Cain is super based, says this person. If a superhero's name ends with man or woman or girl, you just can't use the non-binary as a talking point. The name itself is as non-binary. Oh, wait, hold on. The name itself is as binary as it gets. Oh, okay. Okay. So this is a response to her saying Supergirl doesn't really live within the binary of what we expect out of women. This seems like a great time for me to pitch in as somebody who is a man and also does use the non-binary label because I can and am. First of all, she literally didn't say that Supergirl is non-binary, but I find the specific talking point to be particularly hilarious. Let me just throw that out there for the anti-woke people to get mad about. Yes, you are unfortunately watching a they them right now. He doesn't even use they them pronouns though. Figure that one out. Someone said she's a literal alien. Yeah, literally, like why do you need her to be your narrow idea of what woman equals? You really think just because it has girl in the title, we need to be applying gender norms to this character? I cry every day. Someone says I use girl terms as an NB. Exactly. Like, so many people do this. So, I don't know. To be so loud and so wrong. But getting into the Dean Cain of it all, though. Uh-oh. Hold on. This link is not working. Someone said binary is such a triggering word. It really is for them. It's like the conversation just instantly ends in their minds. They can't activate any further brain cells. So Dean Cain portrayed Superman in the Lois and Clark series from the 90s. And, you know, ever since then, it has just been downhill for this man. I think the most egregious thing would be him bragging about trying to join ICE. Yes, while other people were rightfully calling out ICE's existence for murdering people in the street and just being a tool of xenophobia, Dean Cain was like, this is the perfect time for me to try to join. Pulling this right here. Ex-Superman actor, 2025 by the way, says he's becoming an ICE agent. And if that sounds cringe, you're like, this can't be real. I'm just going to leave you with this training footage of him doing the little obstacle course. Let's see. Pulling this. I got to mute this for a copyright claim. Okay, that should be fine. I think besides the obvious problems with ICE, they are just all so genuinely embarrassing. That's like maybe my sub problem. The larger problem, the violence, the xenophobia. Oh wait, I just realized the Superman theme was playing the entire time. I'm gonna mute this. and try again because I don't want to get in trouble. Okay, take 2. I think my minor problem with ICE, the major problem obviously being the xenophobia and the violence, but minorly, they are all just so cringe and embarrassing. I can't imagine anything sadder than being proud of this. Okay, we nailed that on the second take. I haven't had to do a second take in a long time. I really haven't. Someone said the way he stood up was hilariously stiff. Like, bro, you're not even going to catch... no, I can't think of an analogy. I think I'm losing brain cells at this point. Someone said, and he still didn't get in. I didn't know it was possible. That's a funny thing. He did all this just to not get accepted due to an injury or something. When I personally believe the injury was mostly, as mentioned, to my brain cells, but alas. But yeah, he's been really nasty about Supergirl, about Millie Alcock specifically, as you see appearing on the podcast where people are using this language to talk about her and other women in Hollywood. And he's also been on X. He responded to this tweet right here that says, wait, if Supergirl's skin is bulletproof, how does she have ear piercings? Which is such a stupid question. I mean, my skin is also bulletproof, but alas, I had no problem piercing my ears. And Dean responds with like this thinking emoji of like, oh, that's weird. But then underneath here, somebody said, and why does she look like this guy? Which is just so rude, obviously. And by the way, as someone's going to point out, like, we're doing all of this and we're also going to try to pretend that Millie Alcock is ugly. If that's not really showing you the levels of delusion we're dealing with here, I don't know what would. And to this, Dean Cain says, I'm covering his response. Dang it, I laughed. And I just feel like you, as a grown man in your... Actually, I want to be ageist. He's what, 59? Okay. You, as a 59-year-old man, sitting here commenting on this woman's looks online, how are you not embarrassed? How do you not feel like everyone hates you? Many of them do. I'm just letting you know. Reading chat. Someone says she gets them pierced in red sun systems and then they heal in yellow sun systems, literally the same way humans get them, just more complicated slightly. Oh yeah, actually I pulled this just because of how silly that comment was. TikTok. Okay. Let me zoom out a little bit. James Gunn himself, the director. I believe he's the director. Wait, hold on, wait. Let's not be stupid about this. James Gunn, Supergirl. No, he's not the director. Okay, hold on. What is he doing? He's producing it. Okay, great. James Gunn, one of the producers on this movie, chipped in and said, as explained in Superman, literally the last movie in this franchise that just came out, the same way she gets drunk. She goes to a planet with a red sun. Not to mention she was raised on a chunk of Krypton, so she didn't even experience superpowers until her teens. I just feel like the whole ear piercing thing is so stupid, and it shows how y'all are grasping at straws. Like, are y'all even fans of the franchise if you don't know these simple basic facts? Or do you actually know these facts and you're just using them as an excuse to pick on this person? Someone says he creative directs the whole universe. You aren't totally wrong. In a way, he directed it, I suppose. But no, you don't want to get things like that wrong, because then all the comments are just like, this guy didn't even know who directed the Supergirl movie, so every single point he made must be invalid. And I'm just like, y'all should kick rocks. Anyways, moving on towards this. Oh, no, wait, hold on. I can't get off of the Dean Cain thing just yet. My last little word I have to get in is that the absolute just hypocrisy, or what's the word I'm looking for? Like, the cognitive dissonance of proudly joining ICE when your Wikipedia says Cain is mixed race. His father, Roger Tanaka, was an American serviceman of Japanese descent, and Cain said that several members of his family were interned at a relocation center as part of the internment of Japanese Americans. you must truly just have to be turning your entire brain off to support any of this. Like in moments like this, I finally understand. Oh, this is how people support ICE. Oh, this is how we wound up where we are. You literally just stop thinking. My God. Anyways, enough of that. Someone said Dean Cain is mixed, so it's insane. It's beyond insane. It's beyond insane. Anyways, what's another thing that we're mad about? Because right now she said all the wrong things, right? People feel ownership over women's bodies. Supergirl is a queer icon, which she's happy about and probably goes both ways. At this point, we're now just mad at her for acknowledging the fact that misogyny exists at all. This one's coming courtesy of Ben Shapiro, which I shouldn't even be here. But alas, I'm just trying to show you this is not something I'm making up. It really is out there. Supergirl star Millie Alcock is preemptively blaming potential criticism of the film on ... misogyny. I really shouldn't be in the Facebook comments right now. This just seems like a recipe for disaster. But I like how this person said, I don't remember thinking anything was wrong with Terminator, Alien, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Xena, Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, Murder, She Wrote, etc. Female leads that had good actresses were never a problem. No. Franchises that had women as the leads weren't a problem when those women kept their mouths shut. You are literally one of those people who thinks that women should be seen and not heard, and it is embarrassing for you. I'm just letting you know. It's much more apparent than you think. That one guy even said it in the video. I liked Millie when she was on House of the Dragon, but now all of a sudden she's annoying to me. Why? Because she's speaking. Y'all are so blatant. And that's probably, I feel, why Millie's not even responding to or playing into any of this in any way. Because at this point, it's just like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Misogyny, Supergirl is a much loved character. There can be 1,000 reasons why the film can fail. I doubt misogyny will be at the top of the list of reasons. We get the point. Misogyny's not real. She's wrong about everything. Okay, whatever. So how are people discussing this on YouTube? You're getting like back-to-back ick from me right now because we're moving off of a Ben Shapiro page onto a Steven Crowder page. Which I'm sorry. But anyways, here is Mr. Crowder, who I would rather actually die than talk about why he's a problem. Talking about why she is a problem. Okay, whatever, 200's probably fine.
We want to talk about. So first off, let me ask you, has there ever been a time where female leads attacking their largely male audience has fared well for the movie? Can you give me a single example? And I get it. Men can be very competitive. They can be very possessive. Sometimes they can be quite exclusive of women. And we know that these masculine problems have always plagued the fan base.
Right. Which I think is what she said.
Of Supergirl. Because that is the latest film where the lead actress is complaining about what a victim she is. And so if the movie fails, it's actually your fault. It's time for Entertainment Minute.
I think I get baffled listening to this because they realize on some level that she's not wrong. They know that she's correct. And there's also no valid rebuttal to what she's saying. You can't be like, well, actually, Millie, here are statistics and logic and facts to prove why you're wrong. So the only thing they can do is repeat what she said while making weird faces and saying, isn't she so stupid? This is literally like listening to a weather report. The weathercaster's up there like, forecast says the temperature's going to rise later, and then the temperature rises later. And you're just like, that forecaster was so stupid. They said it was going to be hotter. Yes. I guess this is why I'm talking about it today, because I just feel like, whereas before I felt like people were at least trying to bring cohesive counter arguments into this anti-woke thing, everyone has just given up. No one cares anymore about even sounding like they're making sense. Someone said Crowder's still out there being abusive to women. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that you have people like this leading massive portions of this conversation, and then these comments these comments disseminate all across the entire internet. I just hate it. And then constantly making their way back to like the actresses who are involved, etc. And comments again, Hollywood doesn't make movies anymore. They make propaganda. The propaganda of what exactly? The propaganda of women existing on this earth. I'm actually super impressed that they didn't choose a gay black woman to play Superwoman. Superwomen. I don't think that's the character's name, but it's okay. It's okay. And here we have again the same tired points. That's funny. I remember watching Linda Carter as Wonder Woman in the 70s and Lindsay Wagner as the Bionic Woman and loving those shows. She went full Zegler. Never go full Zegler. Again, dog. Again with the Rachel Zegler. I'm going to pivot and I'm going to talk about Rachel for a second. Because as you see, as annoying as this hate train is, Millie Alcock isn't actually the face of it. I do think that for many of these people, for maybe the rest of their lives, it will always be Rachel. So let's go ahead and take a look at what exactly happened there, because it was the same thing. Someone said they should have a gay black superwoman would have been... Actually, hold on. I want to pitch that right now. DC, I don't trust DC to do this, but DC, if you're watching this, we've had Superman, which I liked that movie actually. We've had Supergirl, which is not out yet, but I already hate because Millie Alcock is a woman. And I would like to pitch, I can't type, gay black super women. I think this one should be a series, probably. It sounds like it would be an ensemble cast, but why not? I feel like I wouldn't be mad about it. I'm trying to think of like my fan casting for the gay black superwomen TV series. No one is coming to mind off the top of my head, but it would be great, even though I wouldn't wish that on any actress in the world. I really wouldn't. Someone said, do they have Storm? Oh, sadly, that's the wrong franchise, because I think Storm is in Marvel, but she would be great. Exactly. Let's go. Someone said super queer. Someone said Snow White was awful. I'm not here to tell you that the Snow White movie was good, but that's not the point. Anyways, let's get into this. Someone said, why do misogynists talk about Rachel Zegler like the Vietnam War? Can someone explain? I'm here to do it. Pulling up. So, addressing the elephant in the room. No, Snow White doesn't seem like it was a good movie, but that has literally, and I do mean literally, nothing to do with or to excuse the racist, just really awful hate campaign that misogynist hate campaign that Rachel Zegler experienced. I think one of the main things that people were saying about her that was so cringe was like she's not white enough, like physically, to play the character of Snow White, which is so stupid. But if you look behind all of this, hold on, it's the exact same thing where in interviews, instead of just will he make it? Dog, I swear to God, I do not know how to use a computer despite getting paid to do it on a regular basis. In interviews, instead of just keeping her mouth shut like these people would prefer, she said in the original Snow White, there's a big there's a big focus on the love story with the guy who, quote, literally stalks her. She called that part of the story weird and said they didn't do that this time. We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because we cast a guy in the movie. It's really not about the love story at all, which is really wonderful. She joked that all the scenes featuring Prince Charming could get cut, adding, who knows, it's Hollywood, baby. Again, the same verbiage of daring to suggest that we're not making like a film centered around men or their opinions. And because people could not actually prove that that was a bad thing, it just turned into Rachel Zegler herself is annoying, won't shut up. Also, it gets much worse when you consider the fact that she is vocal about a bunch of different vocal about multiple issues. Rachel Zegler defends controversial Palestine comments after Snow White drama. The controversial comments in question being she believes genocide is bad, which I would have to emphatically agree with. But this, in conjunction with the feminism, in conjunction with all of this, are why Rachel Zegler is like, I don't know. They're what? How could you truly explain to somebody outside of anti-woke spaces the intensity of hatred that people have for this woman in particular? It's insane. And I think what is really just bothering them is like, she won't shut up, which I'm glad about. I think for some reason they believe that if they just keep calling her annoying and pointing out that Disney made a bad movie that she happened to star in and trying to act like all of her political positions are unfounded and like she's an idiot who doesn't know what she's talking about, she will go away. But it never happens. And maybe that's why they're all still mad about this. Reading chat. Someone said she also said F Trump when he got elected. There was a far right influencer attacking her for it. Literally anywhere you can find somewhere having good takes, you may find Rachel Zegler there with a good take. And that is why these people hate her. How dare Disney interact with this person at all? And you know, I just thought of a suitable, hold on, wait. I want to point this out too. I just thought of a suitable analog. Rachel Zegler became the anti-woke crowd's new Brie Larson. See, I think a lot of y'all were there when the Rachel Zegler thing was happening. Some of y'all may have missed this Brie Larson thing, but I'm here to tell you, you didn't miss much. Let me pull up a picture of her, actually. And, you know, obviously, hold on. This seems like an obvious point to throw out there, but this is not to say, by the way, that like women are incapable of wrongdoing, or anytime the internet is criticizing something that a woman does, like it's unwarranted. I just find it interesting that that is the case 95% of the time. But anyways, Brie Larson, similar thing where the statements she gave were actually like even milder than that, and yet for years and years and years, superhero fan bases absolutely decided that Brie Larson was the biggest op, the biggest one. Here, let me pull up what she actually said. In an interview, or not in an interview, it was like a fundraiser. At a fundraiser, Brie Larson was talking about film critics, and she was pointing out how there's a lack of diversity, an issue that's been bubbling. She said, I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him. I want to know what it meant to women of color, to biracial women, to teen women of color, to teens that are biracial. And she goes on to explain in more detail, like in the interview, literally just like, we don't have enough diverse people in film critic spaces to understand how films are actually landing with the people that they may have been intended to resonate with. But what did people highlight? They literally just focused on the part where she said, I don't need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him. And just turned this into Brie Larson hates white men, who are obviously the most oppressed social group, 40-year-old white dudes. And so, yeah, much like they were saying, Millie Alcock's not actually oppressed or whatever, they're doing the same thing with Brie Larson, acting like they are the oppressed ones while continually just never letting this go. Someone said they're afraid because Brie speaks up. They absolutely are. And again, I have yet to pull an example of any of these women saying something weird or like something that I have to be like, oh, I see what she's saying, but I feel like she worded it kind of badly. These are literally just honestly the coldest, most sane takes of all time. Trying to pull this right here. Like, dog, when it gets to the point where you're getting these reviews for Captain Marvel back in 2019, dark times, do you want SJW nonsense to infect the Marvel universe and rot it from the inside out like Star Wars, Star Trek, Mass Effect, Battlefield? Because this is how you get that. The idea of somebody just getting all of their opinions on who they should hate from conservative influencers is wild to me. But this is really what people do. Excuse me. I wanted to see this at first, but the actress who plays Captain Marvel seems to be just bland. this person's doing that thing. Some people in the anti-woke group will not actually admit that they don't like the political opinions of the people they're talking about. Instead, they start using a lot of words that you really need to watch out for. And I'll tell you what the biggest one is. Unlikable. Unlikable. Listen, people can be unlikable, obviously. I can be unlikable in the wrong context. But like, I swear to God, 9 times out of 10, when someone's just like, Brie Larson is just so unlikable, they don't have an answer for why. They just don't want to say, I don't agree with Brie Larson's political positions. This weird, random made up superhero looks like Homer Simpson. Oh, okay. So again, we're pretending like Brie Larson's ugly and then not interested in supporting Brie Larson's agenda, says this person. The game literally never changes. And maybe that's why Alcock seems to be navigating this like a boss. Someone said Captain Marvel made over $1 billion. Go woke, go broke, right? Pulling this right here. It's ongoing, by the way. This is just from a couple years ago, even though this originated, almost 7 years ago? Is anyone else tired of Brie Larson hate? Asks this person on Captain Marvel. I feel like probably, or on the Captain Marvel Wikipedia. On the Captain Marvel wiki, I feel like low-key this is why maybe you're getting this intensity of Rachel Zegler hate, because they're just really excited to finally be able to move on from Brie Larson, even though not everyone is able to move on at the same rate. There is this one guy in particular who I do just want to pull up, even though I shouldn't be doing this. The Critical Drinker, who... This should show you the levels of like obsession, crash and burn, the Brie Larson story. Brie Larson's here to save YouTube. What else? I was so wrong about Captain Marvel. Drink Chasers. Brie Larson's redemption arc literally over the past 7 years has just routinely Grace Randolph versus Brie Larson. Captain Marvel, boring, forgettable slop. Brie Larson may be coming to Star Wars. The Marvels, we got Brie Larson here again 2 years ago. The Marvels 3 years ago. Oh my God. 1 hour ago, he's talking about Supergirl. Baby, no. This is scary. And when it gets to a point where even your anti-woke agenda stuff starts getting recognized by people outside of your space as like, I think this dude just has a weird thing about Brie Larson. On Reddit, on a post in the movie subreddit about him, someone was like, his hate boner for Brie Larson is extremely off-putting. And here we have this again. I mean, she's pretty dreadful. There we go. She's unlikable, and her lack of work has proven the point. But he could go on with going about it less. We get it. She was a bit of a douche. And then people pointing out, like, what are y'all talking about? As a Critical Drinker fan, you got me. He definitely has a crush on her. Maybe because she sucks. Sure, bud. Being a self-proclaimed Critical Drinker fan in the year of our Lord 2026 is crazy. I guess technically that was 2025, so maybe they've seen the light since then, but... Someone said, isn't Critical Drinker MAGA? Yes, he absolutely is. But we've kind of talked about Brie. We've talked about Rachel. There's literally levels to this. All of this is making me think of somebody else who I would like to bring up. Millie Alcock is getting, obviously, like a lot of hate. But when you look at this and from sort of like the intersection of different identities, it can get so much worse. Not to compare, I just want to show there's multiple ways this can manifest. For example, during the Rachel Zegler thing, one of the people who supported her, thankfully, was Halle Bailey. Halle Bailey supports fellow Disney princess Rachel Zegler amid Snow White backlash. They did the same thing where it wasn't anything about the movie itself being good or not good. Everybody just saw a black woman playing this character, and just the character of the Little Mermaid in the live action remake, and literally just felt like it was open season to put the most vile, racist stuff imaginable. And it makes me think about Amandla Stenberg. Are y'all familiar with them? Hold on. So unfortunately, this is just sad to say, Amandla is like an OG in terms of navigating online hatred against them. They starred in the Hunger Games a very long time ago as a child actor. They played Rue. And even at that time, people were actually being weird about this person. But since then, no matter what they're doing, people have found reasons to just meet everything they do with like a disproportionate amount of hate. And a lot of it is deeply racist as well. I mean, first of all, you've got the obvious, like, being mad that they dare to use they them pronouns and she her pronouns. Also, I read this article and I was like, you ever low-key feel like if you had figured something out for yourself sooner, that your life would have been easier? Now I'm making this about me. This article is from 2017, back when they were literally 18. And it says, Amandla Stenberg, why, quote, I don't necessarily always subscribe to female pronouns. And they said, I tend to believe that gender as we've set it up in current day society doesn't actually exist. I've said before that I'm comfortable with using the pronouns they or them alongside she or her because that's a conversation that's important to me. I don't necessarily always subscribe to female pronouns because I don't think that pronouns are necessarily very meaningful. I cringe when I think that it took me 27 years to figure this out. In the 2010s, when literal teenagers were saying things like this, I guess I was a teenager in the 2010s as well. I was unfortunately one of those people under the brain rot of this anti-SJW trend. And I was like, pronouns. And now if you asked me, I would be like, well, yes, I'm non-binary because from my personal experience of gender, I don't view it as real. And I didn't even change my pronouns to they, them because I don't view pronouns as particularly important to me. God, I was literally in hell. I was in prison. It was so bad. Someone said she sounds very intelligent. They are. I mean, like, again, Amandla, I'm sure there are things to criticize, which you could do all day, but the vast majority of the things that they've done are just pretty true. Let's see. Pulling this out. And then what complicates all of this for them is the fact that they are very open about black issues as well. Amandla Stenberg calls out Kylie Jenner for cultural appropriation, which, dog, this picture is crazy. Yeah. I always forget about the extent of the Kardashian Jenner clan's cultural appropriation because they have normalized it at this point. It's almost like, yeah, of course they're doing that. But then I see a picture like this from like the 2010s and I'm like, y'all were really letting people get away with this, but they weren't. This is why I don't let people say it was a different time, because even at that time you had people calling them out, and Amandla was one of them, saying when you appropriate black features and culture but fail to use your position of power to help black Americans by directing attention towards your wigs instead of police brutality or racism, hashtag white girls do it better. Like, they're right. I just feel like it was a recipe for disaster, sadly, not due to Amandla's fault, but just an outspoken black person, someone who is non-binary. This was never going to end well with this particular group of bigots when they were announced to star in the Star Wars series The Acolyte. And this is actually one of the few topics I never covered on purpose, specifically because the level of hatred scared me. I know that might sound a little silly when it seems pretty similar to all of the other things I've talked about, but genuinely, people were saying the most insane things, getting upvoted entire comment sections. It was all feeling very violent on some level. It was all so weird that I actually had to take a step back and say, I don't think this is good for my mental health to be sorting through all of these things people are saying about Amandla in this context. So I put that one aside, but I'm just here to tell you, I actually did research. I could have told you about it when it was happening. The Star Wars backlash, it doesn't matter if The Acolyte was the worst show in the history of television. People were horrible to this person. Give me a second, trying to pull this out. And the fan base, I believe part of what was really riling people up was like Amandla choosing to call out the fans. I do think usually people just tend to ignore it, which is fine. There's literally no right or wrong way of responding to people being hateful against you. But Acolyte star Amandla Stenberg claps back at, quote, intolerable racism from Star Wars fandom with Juneteenth music video. We don't F with your discourse, she raps in the song. And it says right here, it was like right here. I was like, oh, no wonder they hate this person. Now that you're listening, let me tell you something fascinating. They're spinning woke. They bastardize it and appropriate it. Yeah. Last I recall, woke was something we created. Speak truth to power. Keep an eye out for you silly racists. And now they use it to describe anything they're threatened by. Remember when Childish Gambino put it in the zeitgeist? It was all about the people recognizing bigotry, the power of community, not fodder for your clickbait. Speaking of which, journalists, I'm looking at you. Did you forget it's your job to provide the truth? Spreading divisiveness, miming the metrics and date. Seemed you gave up all your ethics for money and views, and I can tell that the people are tired. No wonder. No wonder. Reading chat. Someone said they are Armenian. Wait, Amandla, am I getting their race wrong? Wait, hold on, pause. Reading chat. Someone said they're fitting. They definitely are. Someone said not the point, but the Acolyte was perfectly fine. It was totally a hate campaign. Yeah, it definitely was. Reading chat. Hold on. Everybody in chat is like mentioning Eastern Europe or something, and I'm trying to make sure I'm not like messing things up. I said Amandla was black. Was I right about that? Reading chat. Some says I didn't realize I was the same person for Hunger Games. I like their acting in The Acolyte. Yeah, I feel like they're fine, honestly. Oh, wait, are y'all talking about the Kardashians? Oh, okay. I was so confused. You're saying the Kardashians are Armenian as a response to them getting called out for cultural appropriation of black people. Okay. I feel like I understand better because I was like, what? Okay, yeah, that doesn't matter. Anybody and everybody can appropriate black culture and continues to do so. In this specific case, that's not necessarily relevant to the point Amandla was making. But I see what you're saying. I guess people were taking issue with their usage of the term white girls. But like, see, now we're going to get into too much stuff going on. But like, the Kardashians are white. I do hope that's something we could agree on. I mean, really what happens is like where this all starts falling apart is there's not really like white doesn't really mean anything. Like race is real insofar as like it seems like something easily observable, but it's actually not that cut and dry at all. Whiteness as a construct is something that definitely exists, but this idea of certain people actually being all the way white isn't really a thing. No one is. It's not a thing you can be. But that's neither here nor there. And I think usually when you get people criticizing these institutions of white supremacy, it's more so who gets to be white in a society where that is held up as a standard by people who don't realize they are literally no closer to any ideal than anyone else. Kind of is how I view that personally. Someone said race is real to the people who invented it. Yeah, no, it's real insofar as it gets used against people like a cudgel, but not insofar as something that actually matters, which is wild to me. Someone said, look, I think this will help me pivot. Someone said race is a social construct, but nonetheless, whether Kylie is Armenian or not, there was still cultural appropriation. Yes, I would agree. It's that simple. Reading chat. All right, anyways, pulling this at the other. And you could imagine how people felt about Amandla just reading them for filth. She's so oppressed is the top comment on this Reddit reaction. If you dumped her in Sudan, she'd be white. That would be hilarious. If all else fails, blame Whitey. See, the points I would like to bring up is that these hate campaigns really start taking on different, shall I say, colors, no pun intended, depending on who's involved. And I just hate all of it. Whether you're getting your just typical misogyny, which is obviously horrible and destructive, whether you're mixing it with like this vile racism and trying to pretend like no one is actually oppressed, etc. All of these things I'm just so tired of seeing. But seeing as they've been happening just without end for so many years at this point. Someone said they're just proving Amandla's point in the comments. That's what I'm getting at. Everybody just keeps proving all of these people's point. So I would like to go back to the original thing that Millie Alcock said. Before almost any of this started happening. She was aware that she would face backlash over leading Supergirl simply because she's playing a female character. Simply existing as a woman in that space is something people comment on. We've become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies. I can't really stop them. I can only be myself. I, in a weird parasocial way, am proud of the decision to just be like, well, what can I do? If I feel that Supergirl is a queer icon, I'm going to say it. If I see the obvious and clear issue with misogyny, I'm pointing it out. And if people want to rage about this until the cows come home, they can. What are you going to do? Fire me from a movie that I already shot? So shout out Millie Alcock. I'm sorry, I'm not falling for this forced hate train. Reading chat. Do y'all have anything else y'all want to bring up before I record an outro and then move to the next topic? Oh, also, I want y'all to see this. I really want y'all to see this. Wait, hold on. I gotta pull it up. Okay, great. Literally just like don't do this because you're gonna mess up your recommendations. But literally just search Millie Alcock woke. It's insane out here right now. She won't shut up. You're literally just saying you want this woman to shut up. Supergirl crowned queer icon, non-binary. Oh, here we are getting stuck on the binary. Attacks 50% of the audience. Women hate Millie Alcock Supergirl. Unlikely. We're already starting up this thing. We're passing around this picture, calling her ugly, etc., etc., etc. Woke white knight arrives to rescue Millie Alcock. Oh, I guess that's me right now. We're white knighting for Millie Alcock, sure. Or am I just pointing out that one person said something that was accurate and then seemingly thousands and thousands of people proceeded to get angry and just all look a fool right now? Supergirl actress is already blaming fan backlash on her being a woman, says Tyrone Magnus. Y'all suck really bad. That's all I've got for you. That's truly all I've got. Someone said my eyes rolled so far back. Yeah, and it's like literally just keeps going. Rachel Zegler energy, Millie Alcock, woke male feminists defend. Is this how they see me? Am I a woke male feminist? I feel like what is so funny about this idea, and you know, I might even put this in the video. I suppose insofar as I'm a man, I would be a male feminist or whatever. It's funny though, I don't call myself this. I would proudly admit to it. Yes, obviously me wanting equality for all genders, equality for women would make me a feminist, and this is something we should all be by default. But like, usually it's just me having what I view to be normal opinions that would make me a quote unquote male feminist in the eyes of these people. A woman saying, hey, all these weird misogynist hate campaigns happen when you're a woman, and me making a video where I'm like, yeah, here are a few other examples of that, is apparently male feminism. Acknowledging that the thing exists in the room when we're all looking at it somehow makes you, I don't know, an extremist, even though obviously feminism is not an extreme position by any means. Again, I still feel like it should just be neutral. Nobody should be ashamed to be this. It shouldn't be a pejorative for a man. It shouldn't even need to be a thing in the first place. But clearly we're not there yet, so call me what you will. I'm just going to keep calling what is stupid, stupid. Someone says, I feel like the male feminist has bad connotations for just calling yourself feminist is better. Yeah, I don't call myself that, first of all, again, because like male? Where? But like I just feel like feminism is something we should all be doing. Yeah, I don't know. That's all. I don't think it's much deeper than that. You definitely shouldn't be searching for any brownie points for being this, but the idea that this is what any man is doing by pointing out the obvious is just so tired, honestly. Someone said it's funny how you just it's funny how just not hating women is seen as a negative. Yeah, no, to people who hate women, yeah, for sure. But I guess shout out that y'all proud of yourselves. Y'all think this looks normal to anybody on the outside? It's really wild to me how adamant they are that we are weird, right? Me sitting here, I lost from jump as a non-binary, as a queer black person sitting here agreeing that misogyny is bad. Everybody watching this who is anti-woke is assuming I'm coming from a place of being illogical, going purely off of my emotions, ignoring the facts and twisting things to fit my, I don't know, magical leftist reality. But I just feel as though I have never been more calm. I have never said anything that was less obvious than what I pointed out in this video. And maybe that's why everybody sounds so dumb, because you're literally complaining about nothing at this point. Someone said it's projection. It's absolutely projection for the massive amount of emotional immaturity, lack of logic, and just overall stupidity that is running rampant in these spaces. You have to call us the dumb ones because it's all you got. Someone said the same people who hated on the Superman movie for being quote unquote woke make it obvious that they don't go past surface level when researching things, Millie says. I know. It's easy to clip things out of context and just be like, oh, she said that if the film does poorly, it's because people hate women. She didn't say that. I think it's just like, so there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I literally feel as though I looked at every single thing these people were trying to say about her. She didn't say anything wrong. She didn't do anything. Someone said, are men okay? Is anyone okay? I know men are not okay, for sure. Is anyone okay is my question. But no, we have a lot to work on. I would agree. Someone said woke is a buzzword. These people crying about it can't even explain what it means, which is sad to see something get appropriated from the black community and then turned into a buzzword that doesn't mean anything anymore. But anyways, that's all I've got. I'm going to record an outro. Everybody say bye. Say goodbye right now as I record. I'm going to drink some water first. Someone said, I hate what people have done with the word woke. Absolutely same. Anyways, that's about all I have to say about Millie Alcock and Supergirl. Hopefully you never have to think about this story ever again. I know I will certainly try not to, but yeah, I actually recorded this live right here on YouTube. Excuse me. Where I stream quite frequently, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Unless, of course, I don't, in which case I'm probably just, I don't know, sleeping. But yeah, hopefully I see you in the next stream or the next video, and if not, that doesn't matter at all. Okay, bye! All right, we good. We're still here. I'm just going to stop recording. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Someone said bye future. Bye future me, bye past me. Let's go. Someone said thanks. Thank you. I mean, like, I don't mind doing this. This is just my job, but it's a lot easier to do when there's people there kind of giving me energy to go off of, giving me additional points sometimes I may miss or qualifications. A lot of times it's like things that strengthen the videos. I feel like I've said this before, but the videos are coming out stronger because oftentimes someone will put something in there and then they'll be like, I didn't even see it from that way. We can spin off into a whole different direction. Live streaming is a pretty good format for light commentary. Now, if you're trying to do like heavy deep dive stuff, I don't think a live stream is a good format for that, but like this kind of thing, it's literally light work. Someone says, what are you doing tomorrow, D'Angelo? Not much of anything. Yeah, I don't have anything planned, so who knows, maybe I'm open. Someone said, bye YouTube, I'm still in your walls for your information. Oh, don't tell them that, you're gonna scare them. We can't scare them off. Someone said, I've been loving the streams. Me too. Someone said, you do live streaming super well. Thank you. I had a lot of practice, which it doesn't sound like I have, but the thing was, all of the videos on this channel before I started streaming, I basically did the same way, except no one was there. It was just me in a room by myself with an outline being like, this thing is ridiculous and here's why. And then I was just like, oh, and here's another thing. It's a lot easier and more natural to do it this way. Someone said tomorrow is Father's Day. Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't going to remember that until something reminded me. I'm really bad with holidays and stuff. I guess tomorrow I'll wish all the fathers in my life a happy Father's Day, I guess. And my mom. She gets the biggest happy Father's Day for me. This is basically Mother's Day 2.0. Someone said watching the stream at work is literally perfect. It gives me something to listen to. I enjoy being background noise. At least it's background noise where you're not having to worry about me saying some crazy slur or something. I still can't believe that one part that I played literally had a slur, and I have to make sure, obviously I'm going to catch it and cut that out on the edit. Man, I can't believe what YouTube is turning into, or has been for a long time, and is just getting worse and worse. I am going to rename this footage to Millie Alcock. Okay, great. I don't want to like lose the footage. It happens to me sometimes where even though you would think things that are just being sorted chronologically, I still get confused of like, wait, where's the stream I just did? Someone said my father passed away, so well, I'm sorry to hear that. It sounds like I'm laughing. I'm not laughing. It was just uncomfy. Someone said, father, what's that? Yeah, I mean, I think I know a lot of people who like Father's Day or Father of the Year would go to someone who's not really their father specifically, or like technically or biologically or whatever. And that's valid as hell. Someone said, happy Mother's Day 2.0 to your mama. Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes, for real, for real. Someone said, was your father present growing up? If I wanted to, I could call that racist. I'd be like, excuse me, you're asking me, a black person, if my father was present? But yes, he was. To answer your question, I'm not offended. Someone said Daddy Issues by the Neighborhood start playing. Oh, nah. Daddy Issues hit differently, honestly. Like, I don't know why. I mean, they all do. Any problem with your parent is going to be such a complex and long-term scenario that it's transformative, truly. Someone said, D'Angelo, you're like me. My first reaction is to laugh at serious things. Dog, I have to be careful with that, because like sometimes I feel like, oh, people are literally going to think I'm insensitive. I'm more so overly sensitive, and I just fill in the uncomfy space with a stupid reaction. Someone said, I chose for my father not to be present. Thank you very much. Me, I sent him for milk. That's a power move. One day I sent my father out to get milk, and he never came back because I moved. While he was gone, I packed it up. Someone said, fun fact, my grandfather hated Father's Day. They should name it Father and Grandfather's Day to be more inclusive. Reading chat. Someone said, do you watch FIFA? Not super into FIFA, but I see a lot of excitement for it, for sure. For sure. Someone said, happy Father's Day, D'Angelo. Why, thank you. Dead dad gang. My dad's death was on the news in 2012 and clickbait articles are still writing about it. That is literally so grim. I genuinely hate the way that people report on tragedies in the first place, though. That's also why, like, I will never make a video that is literally just like someone died. That like, I'm not talking about like ongoing things or cases or whatever. I'm literally talking about like, oh, someone died, time for content. I've never ever understood that mindset. I just feel like, I don't know, man. I will talk about people who have died. This year we've mentioned like Catherine O'Hara, unfortunately, and Oliver Tree. Recently there was that crash where multiple people lost their lives, but like just the idea of standalone content where I'm like, okay, we need some views, and this person dying was the right answer. That's the wrong answer. Someone said, are you a father, D'Angelo? Do you have children or pets? Nah, very much not a father. Do not have children. Do not have pets. Someone said, anyone dying, literally so many people are hurt regardless of how you feel about the person. It's true. Someone said, rip Davy Chase. Oh, yeah, I saw that recently. That was so... I don't know, it just felt like it came out of nowhere. Obviously, it's sad when anybody dies, but like... was she the Lilo and Stitch actress? I think, or maybe, yeah, dude, the actress or the voice actress for Lilo and Stitch, and she also was in a bunch of other things, unfortunately died at age 35, I think, like the other day or a few days ago. Very unfortunate. Yeah, no, that I was like, what? Someone said broke my heart. Yeah, no, that's just sad news, period. Someone said and Chihiro. She did play Chihiro in Spirited Away, right? I don't know why that's not on here. Maybe it is, and I just not. Oh, it is literally on here. Yeah, no, very very iconic voice for sure. Definitely. Someone said that too. Yeah, no, 35 is no age at all. I mean, no age is a happy age to die, I suppose, but 35. Man, that's unfortunate. Oh, someone said Tay Keith. I saw that recently too. The producer Tay Keith died at 29. Also, like, I how to talk about this? How to talk about this? Chat, work with me. Not to make bad things happening to other people about me. I'm just trying to say, like, the closer someone is in age to me, sometimes I get like an extra level of like scared or sad is what I'm trying to say. I was very, very sad to hear about Tay Keith dying at age 29. And then I just started thinking about like turning 28 soon. And I'm just like, I don't even know what that means or what that looks like. I don't know. Again, obviously it's equally sad no matter who it is, but I can't help myself for just that extra like freak out of like, God, oh no. Someone said, why are so many young famous people dying? Okay, I can't like prove anything, but it has felt like more this year. I don't know, but it's felt that way to me for sure. Someone said that makes so much sense. Yeah, no, there's always that added level of complexity where it's just like, oh man, I don't know what that means. Someone said 29. Yeah, no, the hell. Yeah, no, that's no age at all. Ugh. Someone says it makes me realize how fragile I am. Yeah, I mean, it's like trite to say that you never know whatever, like what day could be your last. I don't know. People turn it into like quippy little statements, but it's literally true though. It really, really is, unfortunately. Someone said it's so recent too. So many young people have died this year specifically. Yeah, that's how I feel. I can think of so many people who were 20s, 30s, 40s. It's just so odd. Someone said that's not problematic. It's perfectly normal. Yeah, no, my friends and I feel the same way too. Like, just, I don't know. You never want to think about that. But anyways, I always find it bittersweet though when people do leave behind, works or things that they've done, and that's I always just try to think of like. I don't know. Sorry, I'm realizing I'm going somewhere. I'm trying to say like, it's just bittersweet, I guess, when someone is here and not simultaneously, is what I'm getting at here. Davy Chase. Oh, I realize I've been saying her name wrong because Wikipedia says DeVay. DeVay Chase, obviously not being here is sad. And also a lot of the work that she did will be here forever. And that's just really interesting to think about it from that perspective. Someone said Rip Aaliyah. Oh, nah. Yes, absolutely. Oh, but okay, look. Anyways, that's really all I want to say about that. Because, dog, don't get me started on that. No, Aaliyah. I can't believe how failed she was in general, actually. Like, it's wild. It's really, really wild. Reading chat. Someone said, I just did volunteer trash cleanup. I'm so beat at lunch, but I'm happy you're live. What a reward for lunch. Hey, I'm happy I'm live too. Sorry you jumped in and we're literally talking about, oh my gosh, life is fragile. At least some people get to leave things behind. Most of the stream, I promise, was not that heavy. Definitely was not that heavy. Someone said, oh, this is kind of an interesting way of thinking about this. YouTube and social media has created a larger group of young celebrities, so there is a bigger sampling to lose from. I would agree that we are aware of more young, famous people, for sure. That is true. Someone said, any thoughts on the anti-woke reaction to God of War, Leve? Yes, I've shared them before and I'll share them again. Hold on. God of War, Leve, to feature Faye as a protagonist. Yes, we know. If you want to pretend that this is not peak character design, we can never be friends. I feel like for all of the complaints about, oh no, the new God of War, you're playing as a woman and trying to frame this as if she's not cool. I'm not gonna lie. She might be cooler than... No, I won't say it. Because then they're actually going to get mad at me. Dog, this game looks so fun. It looks so dope. She looks so cool. And I'm not going to let any of you, like, psyop me into not being excited for God of War Leve. I want to be the coolest character of all time. So, yeah, screw all of that. All of the, like... I guess like gameplay footage that I've seen so far, this literally looks like it's going to be epic. It's like, do y'all not want good games? Is that you're complaining about games that look really good and have a lot of work put into them? This is so stupid. So stupid, man. Someone said, wait, yes, I love character design talk. I love character design talk too. I mean, I was a character designer, not professionally, just for myself for the longest time, bro. Someone says, I'm so excited for it. Yeah, no, for real. Like, y'all will never get me mad about this game. There ain't nothing to be offended about. I mean, some people have questioned the talking cube, and I do feel like I would have to see that in context. But God of War has always had weird stuff in it, though. So, alas. Someone said it's so exhausting. It really, really is. And I feel like for as much... I know this is easier said than done. But for as much... as it can be useful to point out these things and be like, this is bad, which is literally what I did today. Not trying to be a hypocrite. Sometimes you also do just have to be like, screw these people and close the tab. Sometimes I feel like you gotta pick your battles depending on how much energy you have. Like on another day, I could sit here and pull up some of the things they're saying about Leve, or Faye, the character, but just like being, oh, I just realized I keep pronouncing it incorrectly too. It's Lao Fei. Lao Fei. The reason I keep saying Leve is because there is a human being named that, and her name is pronounced Leve, and every time I used to mispronounce Leve, the real human being's name, all the time, until one day I trained myself like a dog to always pronounce Leve's name correctly because I didn't want to sound like an idiot, and I don't like when people mispronounce names when you can just try. So now anytime I see Laufey, I'm like Leve, but because of that, I've been saying the name of this game wrong every single time. So now I have to hold space for Leve and Laufey simultaneously. Oh Lord, does he have enough brain cells? Find out next time. Someone said I was thinking of the artist too. Yeah. Someone said, did you ever talk about the casting of Snape in the new Harry Potter series? I really try not to talk about Harry Potter too much in general. Really, that's where I'm at with that one. Someone says, I thought you were talking about the artist. Yeah, no. Hey, there's multiple ways, I guess. Many ways to Leve. Someone says that reminds me of the old YouTuber Larry. Oh my god, that is a blast from the past. Does anybody remember that era? I mean, to be fair, during that era, I also made like this really big video where I dragged him and a bunch of other people for like partying during COVID. But I'm not gonna lie, before that, I was rocking with those videos. They were fun. That was a very chaotic version of YouTube. Hold on. I'm gonna do a little deep dive for you. Do you remember like Antonio Garza? Do you remember her? When were her oldest videos? Okay, this was like 8 years ago. I swear to God that there was this time on YouTube about I don't know, 7 to 8 years ago where all of these channels started popping off, and you had like Antonio Garza, Larry was one of them for sure. I mean, he may have content going back before that, but like, I don't know how to get to his oldest stuff. Yeah, for sure. This was Larry's time for real about 8 years ago. I mean, he's also still really popular. I don't want to make it sound like he's irrelevant. Who else? Oh my God, I don't know. There was like a whole group of that. Technically, Emma Chamberlain was like adjacent to these people, kind of. She never made content that was as like chaotic, but I was watching a lot of Emma Chamberlain at this time. Yeah, 9 years ago. Dude, I swear to God, you had to have been there. Emma Chamberlain, Larry, Antonio Garza. Unfortunately, James Charles. Unfortunately. If I'm being honest. And a few of these other YouTubers, like, dog, I was into it. I was really into it. Someone said his diss track was peak. It definitely was. The canceled one that Larry did was so funny. No, Larry was funny. Oh, Twames! Yes! I knew I was forgetting somebody. Dog, I used to watch so much Twames content at this time period, during this time period too. Yeah, I mean, Twames has been on YouTube for a while, but definitely during the same era about 10 years ago. That's sort of my like OG list. I know, like, obviously people who have been watching YouTube for longer would get mad. Don't get mad. I'm just saying, for me, these are the people that were like the OGs, because I was finally conscious. Like, yes, I obviously had watched Markiplier. We all did. I mean, maybe not all of us, unfortunately. I was watching a lot of PewDiePie before this, but like, this was when I started making my own choices, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna follow this group of people. It was very, very, very interesting. Someone said Mac does it. Inya and Drew. Mac is still crushing it, and yes, Mac was definitely popping off at the time. I used to love Inya and Drew's content. What is her channel name? I'm just gonna put Inya and Drew. I don't know where Inya's channel is. Is it? Chat, does anybody? Oh, here we go. Omanzor. Okay, I could not remember her last name for the life of me. Dog, I used to watch so much of this. Her videos were so funny. 9 years ago, again, I swear to God, these were my OGs. Dog. It was so funny. Someone said Joanna Sedia. I hope that wherever Joanna Sedia is, she's happy. That's what I hope. The person that somebody just mentioned, you can't even find her on YouTube anymore. It would help if I could spell her name correctly. There's this archive channel that has a lot of her, or I guess almost all of her videos on it. But actually, at one point, she made the decision, seemingly, to leave the internet in its entirety and scrub everything. And no one ever heard about her since. And I'm happy for her. If that is what she wanted, I genuinely hope she's so happy and chill. Someone said, I wish her the best, Eva Down. Someone said, Inya's hella problematic. To be fair, chat, I could not tell you what any of these people have done for the most part within the past 5 years. So, someone says, I wasn't allowed on YouTube as a kid, so I was just watching lyric videos for Nicki Minaj and Drake songs, trying to memorize the lines and then deleting the history before my parents got home. I was a big history deleter. I really was, because I didn't know what incognito mode was. So I would literally just watch stuff on computers where I wasn't supposed to and then delete the history. And then once I messed up and I deleted the entire browser history, everything, cookies, cache, history, saved, websites for all of time. Excuse me. Instead of deleting it for the past hour, I accidentally hit delete all. And I was like, I'm going to get in trouble. I was like, what have I done? But you know what? Weirdly, it never came back to me. I don't know if maybe one of my parents thought that they had done this or that the other parent had done it. But I never heard anything about this. But I was like, oh, it's so over. It's literally so over. Someone's going to log in and be like, where are literally any of the websites that I've been to? And why do I have to log into everything? Has somebody deleted the history, but no one caught on? No one caught on. Someone says there's no way to get that back. There was literally no way to get it back. It was just so over. I just got lucky that no one got mad. Oh my God. I will say, even though my parents like tried to not allow me to have unrestricted internet access as a minor, I still figured it out. And it wasn't hard at all. It's not good. I do believe genuinely that I have had, on some level, unrestricted access to the internet ever since I was 11. Yeah. I wasn't supposed to. I wasn't allowed to. I think, like, technically I was allowed to when I was around 15, but I had been online since I was literally 11, bro. I did not care. I was like, I'm finna use this computer. I'm gonna go on the World Wide Web and learn all there is to learn. And I just saw the most traumatizing things of all time. Horrible. Bad. Not good. Not good. Someone said, didn't we all? Yeah, I just feel like anyone who has had that specific experience of like unrestricted internet access since before age 12 knows what I mean. It is the most like formative and also the most traumatizing thing that can happen to you as a growing person. Someone said, I got Facebook at 9. Yeah, it's not good. It's really not good. Someone said, I've been on YouTube since 10 and online since 11 and 12. Yeah. Oh no. There was nothing good for me. There was literally nothing good for me as an 11-year-old online. Nothing. I didn't gain anything positive. So bad. Someone said the online games were so fun. Well, yeah, the nice part of the internet was fun. Me playing my little Flash games or whatever. It was just all the other nonsense. Reading chat. Someone said this stuff I saw at 10 years old. Dude, it's just not good. It's just not good. No. Let me drink some more water. Someone said I was watching Miranda Sings. To be fair, many of us were. Yes, Colleen Ballinger revealed herself to be such a creep, obviously, but it is, well, not but, and it is simultaneously very, very difficult to overstate just how popular Miranda Sings was for some reason. I feel like even if you weren't actually watching her channel, you definitely were aware of the character with like her weird, I mean, it's just a strange character in the first place, but yeah, no, like, I can't get mad at anybody who has seen or did at any point watch Colleen Ballinger, because that was a lot of people, including me. I wasn't really a fan, but sometimes it would pop up and I'd be like, why the heck not? Someone said the worst apology ever. She absolutely did put out the worst apology ever. She did. I was watching Fred. Oh my God, Fred. Okay, I never watched Fred, but I do really like the YouTuber behind Fred, Lucas. I think he's pretty funny, I think, low-key. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this. And I shouldn't be saying this, but again, this was like a few years ago when I was in that era of watching all these other people. I was watching a lot of Lucas content. Lucas and his brother, Jacob. Yes, that's a human. Someone said almost 20 years ago. YouTube has been around a while. I had a bad experience the other day of Nacho Libre. Y'all ever watch that movie? Nacho? I saw that this movie was 20 years old. I saw that this movie was 20 years old, and I was like, That can't be right. That can't be right. I don't think that makes sense. I was looking at like the release date and I was trying to think about the person I was when I saw the movie the first time, which would have been right when it came out. And I was like, it can't be 20 years old. It can't be, but it is. So a lot of things are 20 years old now. And it pisses me off really bad. Someone said Nacho Libre came out when I was in middle school. Probably for me too. How old was I 20 years ago? 7? That's middle school. No, I don't know. School for me was weird. But yeah. Someone said, are you a millennial? I am technically Gen Z and I don't fight against the label. It's fine. But I'm also like kind of a cusper / zillennial. Because I was born in 1998 and I also went to college a little bit early, meaning all the people I went to college with were millennials. So I've had massive overlaps with the millennial experience, despite technically just being a very old member of Gen Z. I've talked about it a little before, but that's my experience. But I'm just Gen Z. Nothing about it. Someone says, no, they are. I'm not old. I mean, you don't have to be old just because the things you love happened 20 or 30 years ago. You can still be young, not even at heart. Just choose to be young and then you are. It's that simple. That being said, though, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I still feel like I want to reclaim old. I want to reclaim it. I understand, and I know that's easy for me to say at 27. Please don't laugh at me. I understand that like nobody wants to be called old or get labeled old because it's invalidating and it's intentionally used to invalidate and exclude people. But I also feel like we should just reclaim that a little bit and just be like 20 years ago was a long time. I'm older than many people that I encounter. Yeah, I'm old. What about it? Someone said 29 is old, but 30 is young. I believe that. I'm ready to experience that soon. Someone said aging is a privilege some don't get to have. Seriously, like... I've said this before and people were kind of like, no. And I understand why. I don't think society should get to decide that you're old. That is something I believe. But I also feel like there could be some power and just being like, why have I been alive for so long? Oh, well, y'all can't kill me. Y'all really can't. Someone said, I'm 10 years older than you. See, someday I'll be 10 years older than me. Well, no, but you know what I mean by that. You really, really do. Someone says, I don't ever think of myself as old. Yeah, no, you never have to. I mean, what is the point, I guess, of the category old anyway? You know what I mean? Now, granted, if you acting old, I'm finna call you old. If you out here acting, listen. If you out here wanting to play stupid, as some older people have a very bad habit of doing, I am gonna call you old. There are some people who use their age as an excuse, and those people, they give old, and I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, old people, but I don't think that that's most people. That's not most of the older people I encounter. Literally, I'm talking about, I know people who are 70 and 80 and they're not acting like old people. They don't do this. They're not like closed-minded and stubborn and all these other things that older people can be while using their age as an excuse. So you never have to be old. It never has to happen to you. But at the point where you, I guess, specifically choose, you just choose to opt out of trying to understand another person. I'm not even saying you have to understand. Do I understand 6'7"? No, I never will, and I don't care to. But I'm literally talking about understanding people as people. Understanding people as people. When you stop trying to do that because of your age and the world has changed too much, I'm not even willing to understand why someone may identify this way or whatever. I'm finna call you old. Sorry. Someone says my sister acts old and she's literally 33. It can literally happen at any age. And unfortunately, in my experience, it does start in the 20s. It does. Someone said I was far more insecure about not hitting certain life stages by a certain age than about my age itself. I felt that same way. I really did. But like, then I realized it was so arbitrary and like there was literally no timer. And that you can start anything at any point, no matter what happens. Someone says, I don't know if real young peeps are that open-minded, to be honest. Well, no, they're not either. I think open-mindedness is something that you maybe have more of when you're younger, but you still have to practice pretty radically and intentionally at all times, or you're going to wind up being the problem. Someone said life stages are made up. Literally, like, what is this, a video game? Like, I'm not trying to like crap on you for saying you used to feel insecure about it, because I felt the same way. I would especially see people who were like famous but like younger than me, and I'm just like, how do some people achieve so much in their life? But then I realized, like, this is literally made up. This is absolutely made up. Someone said I'm young, but I feel like a bitter old person. Yeah, sometimes I just feel old. Sometimes I just feel like, I don't know. There's something that happened to me the other day, for like the first time in a while. And I realized there was something that no one can ever take away from me. Whereas people who are older than me do like to tell me, how young I am and remind me, which I appreciate, because it's usually in the context of like, D'Angelo, calm down, your life is not over, you're literally 27. I did just sit down the other day and I just thought about all of the collective seconds, the cumulative minutes that make up my life, and I was like, 27 years is a really long time. I understand that there are people who are 10 years older than me, 20, 30, 40 and 50, and if I'm lucky, I'll become one of those people someday. So maybe I'll live my whole life 3 more times and not think of 27 years as a long time. But like, no, I'm not old. Yes, I'm still a young person. Yes, I'm only in my 20s, but also, geez, dude, 27 years is a long time. What are we doing? What am I doing? I'm not mad about it, but just, yeah, it hit me. I'm like, I will listen to people to a certain extent about me being a very young person, because I acknowledge and accept and appreciate that. But also, jeez. Jeez. Someone said 525,600 minutes. Someone said I'm 54. I don't feel my age at all. I oscillate wildly between feeling my age and feeling like a child. I'm not a child. I am an adult human who should be held responsible for being such. I have agency and I make my own decisions, but I only ever feel like some sort of decrepit, I don't know, like past his prime. Like I like Yoda, but Yoda's nice. I like Yoda, but I feel like Yoda, or I feel like, I don't know, a puppy. And there's never an in-between where I'm just like, I feel neutrally about my age. Yes. It's a mess. I'm so old enough to be tired of it. For real. Someone said, this is comforting to hear. I'm turning 18 soon and it's scaring me. Truthfully, the best thing I can tell you about turning 18. Remind yourself about this. Nothing has ended and nothing has started. That helps me a lot. Truly, and this applies to every single age. Doesn't matter if you're turning 8, 18, 28, or 80. I don't know, 80. Nothing is starting and nothing is ending. So therefore, you're not missing out on anything. Legally, a lot of things may start. Obviously, legally, society, depending on where you live, may be built in a way that makes it seem like the rest of your life has just begun, but none of that is real. You're still just fine. You're here. It's okay. You don't even really have to do anything differently than you did before. It's a mess, man. Someone said, I still feel like I'm 18. Sometimes when I'm literally 21, like it's an odd feeling. I still feel not 18 per se now that I'm 27, turning 28, but I do still feel adolescent at times. Of just like, I never got a permit to call myself an adult. Someone said, as an ADHD, what are your favorite little treats that get you through the day? The ones that don't mess my life up. Okay. I mean, if I say Love Island, y'all are going to get tired of me. as an ADHDer, it changes, as you know, very rapidly. But right now, I'm sorry to say, I've been structuring my days around Love Island. So I gotta wake up, I gotta do this stream, get some good footage out this, I gotta go over outlines, I have to like make sure my videos are ready to go, I gotta go for my run, I gotta do administrative stuff, and I gotta be butts in seats by 9 p.m. my time, which is when, I mean, not today because we're only getting after sun, but like 5 days a week it's been Love Island for me. So that's the answer. I've very much been intentionally fixated on that particular franchise right now. When it goes away, there will always be something new. But yeah, I'm using it literally to motivate me to do things. Like, D'Angelo, you can go for a run today. Yeah, it's gonna take like an hour, and that's kind of boring. But then that's just 1 hour closer to Love Island. See how that works? Someone said escapism, real. Someone said I love that for you. Exactly. Someone said the I need a grown-up feeling is odd when you are the grown-up. Yeah. No one's coming to save you this time. Someone said I get such secondhand embarrassment from most reality TV show. Well, let me tell you, Love Island is no better. You would certainly feel the same way in that case. Someone said, do you watch After Sun? I haven't been watching those, or like I'm not caught up, I guess, but I may. Someone said that's me with the Amazing Digital Circus. Oh, but that means you got to find something new though, right? I mean, not right now, obviously, because there's a lot of discourse, but like, I think it just ended. Someone said, I spent my entire life picturing what my life would look like at 30. I just turned 30 and I'm doing the exact opposite of everything I thought I'd be doing. I had a really similar experience to that. And then I thought about it deeper and realized in a weird way, I was doing what I thought I was going to be doing, but in the opposite way. I'm not saying that's the case for you. I'm just like, that was me, where I'm just like, that's so weird. I don't know. But yeah, you can't predict these things, dog. You cannot. Someone said one of the true horrors of aging is getting older than your fictional crushes. I never even thought about it from that perspective, but true. True. Someone says it just ended. Yeah, shout out the Amazing Digital Circus. Someone says I want to jog more, but then I get FOMO from drawing. Did anybody just get pissed off doing your hobbies and stuff because you feel like you could be doing other things? You just want to do all of the things simultaneously. Someone said Vampire Lestat looks lit. It does though. I've hyped up Interview with the Vampire, even though I haven't started watching, or I don't know if it's out yet, but the new show with Lestat looks ridiculous, which I couldn't be happier about. Someone said I never thought I'd make it this far, but I'm doing a job similar to what I wanted to be when I grew up, so that worked out? ? Yes, this is how I feel personally. This is how I feel. I'm 27 and still not sure what I'm doing with my life. Well, living it is a good step. Everything from there just tends to be quite variable, maybe too variable to predict. I get pissed off because I'm stun locked into dissociating for hours because I hate transitioning into doing other activities. Do you are you I'm just making sure you know that that's like neurodivergent behavior. I'm sure you do, and you're like, yes, D'Angelo, I'm aware. But just on the off chance, because sometimes I hear people say things like this and they don't even realize it's wild. Reading chat. Someone said, I just started my education to my career at 27. So don't worry about still figuring it out. True though, you can literally start anything at any time. Can and should. We should definitely normalize just striking up a new career, no matter what age you are. It's not easy, but like it's doable, much more doable than you would think. Someone said never been diagnosed, but yeah, maybe. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna blow this one up a little bit for the other people here. Hey chat, if sometimes you dissociate for hours due to the intense difficulty of transitioning into starting other things, think about a diagnosis, because I'm just telling you that's where I was. That's where I was. And I was like, I knew on some level that it wasn't normal, obviously, but I didn't think it was that abnormal because it was literally just the way I always was. And then realizing like, oh, just kidding. It doesn't have to be this way. Oops. Oops. Whoops. Someone said normalize adults going to college. I would go back to college in a heartbeat, bro. I don't care. Like, I don't know. I would do it online or in person. I do not care. We had older people at my we had older people in my graduating class, and they were chill as hell. Someone said autism, ADHD, or mine. Truth. It'd be like that. Someone said I started a new career at 40 mostly because I felt like it was time to do it. Hell yeah, that's exciting. I mean, chat, I'm gonna start a new career after YouTube. I mean, like, I really don't plan on leaving YouTube anytime soon, because I feel as though I'm good at it, and excuse me, there's not like dramatic consequences for the times in which sometimes it's hard to do my job. But low key, at some point in the future, if YouTube was just not where I was anymore, I feel like I would probably try to become like, I don't know, who knows. I know that was so vague, but I'm just like, I'm like a kid. Like, I'm gonna be a librarian still, probably. I don't know, I'll write a book, I'll become a tattoo artist. Like, I will literally do whatever. My life ain't ending anytime soon, broski. We're gonna need a second career for sure. Someone said lots of people pivot to different careers in their late 30s, 40s. I'm going to do every single thing that I ever wanted to do when I was a kid. I wanted to write a book, and I wanted to be a professional artist. Well, okay, I did want to go to the moon, and I'm not doing that. I'm actually very fine not doing that. I wanted to be a singer when I was a kid, but then I had this one problem where I couldn't sing. So that never worked out, but I do still make music. So maybe I'll launch a music career temporarily. I'm literally just going to do everything that I ever wanted to do, no matter what age I am. They're going to be so tired and annoyed of me. And I'm just like, nah, I'm still here. Someone said I'm 47 and want to go back to school to be a librarian. If you can make that happen, you should. I just feel like that would be so dope. I'm going to do that at some point for real. Some said anyone can learn to sing. Yes, this is true. I mean, hold on, wait. Okay, I don't want to like disagree with you or spread misinformation about something that I don't understand, but I will say this. My voice has a lot of qualities that make it, how to word this? I have a distinctive talking voice. But the things that make my talking voice interesting to listen to do not sound nice when I'm singing. That's the best way I can put it. I got blessed with one interesting voice for speaking. It doesn't translate into a nice singing voice at all. So yeah, I'm sure everyone can learn to sing to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, no. For me. No. Absolutely not. But I'm like, it still doesn't stop me though. I literally still sing. Bro, I'd be recording stuff. I'd be singing over my own tracks. I don't care. Because the thing about it, a lot of my favorite artists, they don't really have super strong singing voices at all. Someone said, can you sing now that so that we can judge you? No, because then you're going to get secondhand embarrassment. And I also have no accompanying track. So there's nothing for me to like I'm going to be pitchy. But anyways, like the vast majority of people I listen to, I swear to God, they can't really sing that well either. And I don't care. I think they sound nice. It fits the music. My hot take, you don't have to be able to sing well. You have to be able to sing in a way that fits your instrumentation. And if you can do that, anybody can and should make music. That's how I feel. Someone said me with Blade. Yeah, Blade can't like sing and he doesn't think he can, but like the music still hits, you know, when you're in a certain mood. It really be like that. Someone said unique voices are always beautiful vocally. I feel like, I guess I would have to learn how to sing in a way that works with my voice, which some of you are like, duh, that's everyone. But like, I don't know, man. I really don't. Someone said, have you thought about rapping? I do it every now and then. I just don't have much to say. I think that's the thing. Like for me with rap, I feel like it's nice as a rapper to have a large pool to draw from. So, and me personally, there's no one particular topic that I'm like, I want to make multiple songs about this. I want to repeatedly write rap lyrics about this one thing. I don't have that. So Someone said me with 100 gex. Yes. Me, like, what's her name? It's escaping me. Laura, like, is not, I guess, a super strong singer, even though I like her voice a lot. But like, I still love the end product. I really, 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 really do. Reading chat. Someone said rap about Love Island. Okay, maybe not, because then we'd be hitting peak cringe. Even though ain't nothing wrong with a little cringe every now and then. Nothing wrong with that. Someone said I loved your Troom Troom rap. You have literally just mentioned something that was like 7 years old. That's wild that you remember that. That is wild as hell. Someone said I love Laura Les so much. Same. She's a great artist, for real, for real. Someone says enjoy the arts, but it doesn't mean you're going to be a famous artist. Yeah, no, like when I was a kid, of course, the end goal for all of my artistic interests was me being famous while doing them. But now I realize, oh, you can just make music. You don't even have to like really release it. Not if you don't want to. Someone said, I feel a desperate parasocial need to hear D'Angelo's music taste now. So could you please educate me? Sure. By the way, if I bring up any of these artists and you're like, D'Angelo, this person is problematic, I genuinely ask, just give me grace for the duration of this chat, because I got asked about my music taste, not about my taste in human being. I don't like the way I worded that at all. But let's start from the top. All right. What are all the genres of music? First of all, Wikipedia music. Okay. Music genres. Major music genres. Okay, popular music. Great. Let's come back to pop music, because that's a really, really broad one. Country music. All right. So essentially, my thoughts on country are low key. It's kind of like gender. It's a spectrum. And on the spectrum to one side, it's nothing like gender. On the spectrum to one side, you get like trucks and my dog, and, you know, find a girl at a bar and take her home. I don't know. It's starting to sound weird even as I describe this. I hate all of that. That music doesn't even sound good to me. And the people making it never sound nice, in my opinion. If you start moving along this spectrum and you get a little closer to like, I am going to murder my husband and no one's ever going to find him because we way out here in the country, you know, like, then I'm like, okay, hold on, let's put this on. Or you start getting into like the more emotional, I guess, vibes or sides of country music, then I'm like, sign me up. So I do love me some Shania Twain, Dolly Parton, country musicians that I genuinely appreciate. And then I also feel like, what with folk music and country music being so inextricable, I love folk music. So the folksier you get with your country, the happier I'm going to be. So give me that, please. I want to sound like you're on the verge of witchcraft, Loki. I never, ever want to hear someone singing a song about their truck. Ever. Electronic music. Okay. Let's come back to that one. Funk, obviously. Growing up as a black kid, I have nothing but love for funk. I'm talking like, oh my gosh, me instantly drawing a blank. I'm talking like Funkadelic. You know what I mean? I'm literally talking like Kool and the Gang, you know, like literally just the classics, the staples. I swear to God, Kool and the Gang is funk as well. If y'all don't know nothing about that, that's fine. That's okay. If you've never been at a family function where they were playing Kool and the Gang and everybody is getting lit, everybody's getting hype, sorry, I just don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I absolutely grew up on funk music and it's just such a great art form. Okay. We're here to hip hop. I'm going to skip that one for a second. Jazz. Someone said Parliament. Yes, Parliament. Yes. As you understand. Oh my God. Sorry. This music is so good. You could literally just put some of these songs on and I would get hyped right now. Jazz. I like it more when other genres are influenced by it. Jazz by itself is not something that I find myself listening to. Even though it inspired a lot of the music that I do wind up listening to. I'm not super like someone who can tell you much about Miles Davis or Coltrane or any of this, but I definitely recognize their outsized influence. And when other types of music start getting jazzy, give me some jazz rap, give me some jazzy soundtracks, give me things like that, I get a little bit more hype, you know? Latin music, I mean, that's so broad. Oh my God. I feel like this could mean so many things, but for the most part, it's hype. It can also be very dramatic, which I appreciate. Like there's this song, The Best Revenge. How would you say that in Spanish? I don't know. Wait, I feel like such an idiot looking this up. Oh yes, Mi Mayor Venganza. Okay, great. This is such a fun song. I mean, it's so dramatic. I guess this is a song by Puerto Rican singer La India. Dude, like there's a level of just, I don't know how to describe it, that I feel like some Latin music can reach if I'm just slotting this under there. But then like, again, it's such a broad thing. It can also be like really hype. You can get a lot of party music, and then different kinds of party music. Like you get, like growing up in Texas, Tejano, absolutely inextricable from where I grew up. If y'all don't know what that is, wait, that's the people. I'm looking for the music. Yeah, Tejano music, dog. You were finna hear this. You were finna hear this if you grew up in San Antonio, coming from a party, coming from somebody's speakers driving down the place. So yeah, having come from where I did, it's nothing truly but love for live music. But again, I can't stress enough. I just thought of like 5 different genres. Someone said, wasn't Selena Tejano? Oh my gosh, yes. And if there's anything that someone from San Antonio is gonna do, and people from all over places, it's be parasocial about Selena Quintanilla. Yeah, she was a singer, I believe. Yeah, Tejano. Media outlets called her the Tejano Madonna. Dog, she was so iconic. I mean, first of all, she was kind of before my time, but it doesn't even matter. The influence was still there. Literally iconic to a crazy extent. It's very unfortunate that she died at age 23, actually. She was murdered. So that is unfortunate. But even in the brief time that she was able to do what she was doing, she really did the damn thing. It's wild, man. So yeah, anyways, all this to say, Latin music, much I guess like the black music I grew up on, I also grew up around this, not in the culture per se, but like amazing, right? Pop music is here for sure. Wait, what? I thought we already had pop music. Oh, all of these are under popular music. Okay, I'll come back to pop music. Punk. Okay, punk. I don't like a lot of it. If I'm being honest, you can get me to like punk music. Like I think recently I've been really into the band Pink Shift. I think they're a punk band, or maybe they're not. Wait, maybe someone's gonna get really mad at me for saying it. Says their music has been described as pop punk with elements of grunge and alt rock. Okay. Yeah, see? So I guess the poppier you get with your punk music, the more likely I am to enjoy it. When you get into some like more pure-ish punk stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna put it on for enjoyment, but I appreciate it, and I like a lot of the political things behind certain punk movements. You got to be careful though, because there's equally a lot of weird stuff going on there, but a lot of punk actually has pretty decent politics. Someone says, I haven't dabbled a lot in true punk, but I was a pop punk kid. Yeah, very much more pop punk for me, like Paramore. But then there are people who would literally try to jump me for even mentioning Paramore when I see the word punk, and those are the people like, dog, just leave me alone, sorry. Okay, reggae is great music, I won't lie. Like, it's not something I've listened to a lot of, but I have an unpopular opinion. I have an unpopular opinion. Y'all are going to think that this is crazy for me to say this, but I'm just going to say it. I love cultural exchange. By the way, I'm literally not Jamaican. So I'm just giving you my own standpoint here. I love cultural exchange, but white people doing reggae sometimes scare me. I feel like that sounds very like inflammatory, or like I'm purposely race baiting or something, but I'm not. I just pause a little bit. I pause a little bit when I hear it, because I'm just like, And I know that sounds crazy, when I don't think there's anything wrong with making specific genres of music. I'm also not trying to argue that this is somehow whatever. But listen, like I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Yeah, sure. Okay, I'm pulling Rude by Magic, which, by the way, might not actually be white people, now that I'm thinking about it. Hold on a second. Maybe I'm lying and I'm wrong. Okay, it's not even maybe I'm incorrect about this, but listen, I'm not backing down from this opinion. The song Rude has always just kind of scared me a little bit, just a little bit, from this Canadian band. Not only because I really think the lyrics are odd, but just the sound of it has been, I don't know. So I don't know how to sit with that one. I don't know how to sit with my do I want to use the word discomfort? Maybe I do. But anyways, moving on from reggae before I say something that I actually get in trouble for. And please do not misinterpret this as me saying certain people are not allowed to make certain genres of music. Obviously that's not what I'm saying. Someone said white folks doing reggae is actually punk. God. Okay, anyways, we have heavy metal / metal music. I like metal core, I guess. Is Circa Survive considered to be metal? I'm not saying they're metal core. Hold on, because I like Circa Survive a lot. Maybe they're not. Sorry, I'm so bad with like rock bands. It's actually crazy. Rock genres, indie rock. Oh, they're not metal at all. Sorry, I don't know. What about like Veil of Maya surely would be considered metal on some level, right? Okay, progressive metalcore, great, whatever. You can get me to like metal. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I like Veil of Maya. A lot of the distinctions between what is metal and what is not, I find to be kind of silly. And I know that that's like going to get you jumped at a metal concert, but I'm just going to be honest. Us needing to have different words for metalcore and progressive deathcore and new post-pop deconstructed, ska rock is just a little bit silly. But someone mentioned Poppy. I like Poppy's music for sure. Her recent turn into metal. But yeah, rock in general that gets more aggressive, I still appreciate it. I don't listen to it as much as other genres, but I'm not a hater. Soca, the soul of Calypso, is a genre of music that originated in Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, I'm not really familiar with this one. but it sounds lit from the description. It really, really does. Someone says Circa Survive is post-hardcore. See, dog, I don't know what that means. I just know that I like the music. I like the music. Soul, music, and R&B. Bread and butter, baby. Bread and butter. That's the one. I mean, I like all of these genres. And R&B, by the way, is also not my favorite genre per se, but that's really, really the one. I love R&B. I will never accept R&B slander. It's completely okay to not like the genre. That's fine. That doesn't matter. But like, it's so good. It's so varied, so storied. Just the multiple things that occurred that gave rise to R&B are so exciting, honestly. Excuse me. You get artists in it doing everything from like chart pleasing, almost borderline pop hits to like really, really out there and strange neo soul vibes. Some of the best musicianship you'll ever hear occurs in R&B a lot. You get your D'Angelos, you get your Princes, and that doesn't mean I'm above just some basic, simple, in your feelings R&B. I will put on SZA any day of the week, even though she also has a lot of really cool instrumentation going on there. The songwriting in a lot of R&B is just so good, honestly. Yeah, I love it. I have maybe thoughts and opinions about different types because again, R&B is kind of broad, but like I feel like I love most of this music. It's so good. Someone said the breakup songs whenever my parents were having issues as a Father's Day symbol. Oh my god. I won't say my parents went so far as to play breakup music when they were having problems, but R&B was absolutely the soundtrack of my household. You know things are up in the air when Sade comes on, or like, not the Sade marathon. By the way, do y'all know Sade? I've mentioned Sade before. It's an amazing band and also a person named Sade. How do I get to like the actual band? Oh, here we go. Okay, great. Yeah, smooth jazz, sophistopop, R&B, soul, progressive soul. There's a bunch of things you could call Sade, but like, oh my god, yeah, no, that's the one right there is R&B for me. Okay, anyways, someone says Sweetest Taboo. Oh, let's go. That is such a good song. I feel like almost all of Sade's songs are good. Like they put out collections of like greatest hits and it's literally just all their songs. I'm pretty sure my parents had every single Sade collection. So that's great. All right, going back up. Someone said, once she comes on and mom starts cleaning, things will down. My mom was literally always cleaning to Sade. It was either that or some gospel, which it's interesting that gospel's not on here. I guess maybe they have a separate section for, religious music. Let's get into it. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Hold on. Someone said Erykah is so good. Bro, Erykah Badu's music, crazy as hell. So good. Someone said Miss Badu is peak. Yes. R&B really, like, there are still people doing interesting things, but y'all need to take more notes from some of this stuff. Okay, that's enough water. Yeah, actually, it's never enough water. That was a true question. Religious music. Okay. I'm not going to talk about any religion that I wasn't a part of because that's just duh. Let's talk about the religious music on here that I'm familiar with. That would be contemporary Christian music and gospel. Let's pull up the thing for gospel. Gospel, Wikipedia. Yes, of course. Oh, no, wait, that's not the right thing. I want the genre. Genre. Okay, gospel music, Wikipedia, and contemporary Christian music, Wikipedia. Okay, great. Love it. Love that for me. Is lit. Gospel music is lit. We were going to talk about CCM in a second. Oh my God. Y'all don't understand. There would be no Ariana Grande without gospel music. That might sound like I just did a jump. No, I didn't do a jump. I didn't jump. I'm correct. If black people was not up in that church singing their literal heart out every single Sunday, literally your friend's mom up there with the craziest singing voice, literally something that would get her signed to a record label, but she doesn't care. She's just doing it for the house of the Lord. If that was happening, or if that had not been happening, the series of events would not have occurred that led to us having people like Ariana Grande. I'm trying to think. Well, honestly, a lot of modern singers probably on some level owe their existence to the black church singing gospel music. Someone said Whitney Houston. Yes. Because the black church was literally like an incubator. It was like a school almost for some of the greatest and most influential singers who have ever come out and influenced the scene. And we just simply would not have a lot of popular current American music. I'm mostly talking about this obviously from an American centric perspective because I have nothing else to go off of. Gospel music can be amazing. There's a lot of, someone says so many incredible artists started in gospel. Yes, bro. I don't even know if people realize how deep this one goes, but I could just literally throw a dart at a board and gospel may have something to do with wherever you land. That being said, I don't like all of it. Gospel is again broad, and so there's a lot of artists who have a lot of like, I don't know, basic music. And so some gospel I'm just like, it doesn't really hit that hard or whatever. But like there are certain songs where I'm just like, dog, these are the ones. This is hitting. You can get me in my feelings. I don't really listen to it at all nowadays. Zero. But it doesn't matter. All of this has been so deeply like influential to me. So much soul, so much power, I guess. I don't know. It's amazing and I love it. Someone said we would be missing entire genres without gospel. Literally entire genres. Now, moving on to contemporary Christian music. Ugh. Okay. Sadly, I shouldn't say sadly. For as much gospel as I heard growing up, I did also hear a lot of contemporary Christian music. That would be more like Hillsong. Or I'm struggling to think of other contemporary Christian music artists. Hillsong is like the biggest one that comes to my mind. Let's see. Popularity, modernity. I don't know. I'm Chris someone. I swear to God, I used to know all of these people's names because we used to sing all of their songs in church. Someone said Trisha Paytas. Yes, Trisha Paytas is my favorite contemporary Christian music artist. Dude, I don't like this genre of music. I don't like it. I don't think it's very good for the most part. Because I feel as though so much of it is intentionally created with the opportunity. I'm basically pulling these talking points directly from like an Adam Neely video, which you could watch if you want to hear more about this. But so much of it is intentionally created to be as slow and easy and simple and not rocking the boat as possible. It is one of the blandest genres of music. It all sounds so deeply similar. And yeah, I don't like contemporary Christian music. I don't think it's very good. Someone's a Flyleaf. Oh my gosh. Well, if you start talking about Flyleaf, then you start talking about the contemporary Christian music to pop punk pipeline, of which Flyleaf was not even the only entry point in this pipeline, or not the only agent in this pipeline. Like, low key, I feel like if you tried hard enough, you could even technically trace Paramore back to this, right? Or am I wrong about this? I feel like if I tried hard enough, I probably could argue that if not for contemporary Christian music, we never really would have had like the band Paramore. Again, I might be wrong about this, but if I look at it through that lens, I appreciate it. Other than that, I hate it. And it's not like a coincidence that so many people who were operating in this space then go on to operate in, dare I say, more interesting spaces. So alas, that's what I have. Someone said, isn't Flyleaf Way anti-gay? Yeah, to be fair, I literally have no idea what, like, I haven't thought about Flyleaf in 10 years, so I can't speak to them at all. But yeah, it's wild, dog. It's wild. Someone said we wouldn't have Katy Perry. Oh, this is true. We also wouldn't have Katy Perry without contemporary Christian music, because she also used to be a Christian music singer. That's so funny. That is hilarious. That's not, I have so many mixed feelings about that. But yeah, shout out that, I guess. Now let's go back to some of these genres that I skipped on purpose, because they were just big. I think the two genres I skipped on purpose were hip hop and pop music. Let me say this. I am not going to give you a talk today about pop music because we would be here all day. I just want you to know that that is basically one of my favorite genres. I feel like it's deeply misunderstood, which is very sad, but the depth is crazy. It's such a useful tool for gauging public perception or gauging like public sentiment. I feel like just by looking at the charts is something I enjoy doing. Just the way pop changes based off of what's happening in society. All of this is fun, and I love pop. But I talk about it a lot, so today I'm going to spare you. But rap music, or did it say hip hop, I guess? Yeah. Okay. I can't help but love rap music because in a vacuum, it's just a genre. It's just a delivery and a style, and it's not inherently bad. There's nothing wrong with it. Rap is also a culture, unfortunately. Hip hop is also an institution, and to ignore that would be crazy. I do. It can get really complex, honestly, being a black person and trying to explain that you low-key hating what rap music represents isn't coming from any sort of like self-hatred or whatever. As mentioned, I do actually genuinely love rap music and rappers, but I wish we would let go of a solid 75% of the garbage that we are still holding on to with rap music. People say it's misogynist, and it is. People say it's problematic in all these ways, and it is. It's true. That doesn't mean that there's not a bunch of amazing rappers who are not any of these things. And I still don't think it's like you should write someone off solely because of what they're making. But like, I really don't love. I really don't love what rap music is synonymous with in terms of, and here's what I mean by this. Someone who I actually think is pretty great, like Megan Thee Stallion, right? Coming forward and being like, yo, this other rapper literally shot me. He physically shot me, and I had to go to the hospital, and having a bunch of people come out and be like, nah, she's lying. Tory Lanez, nah, free him. Tory didn't do nothing wrong. We're gonna make a bunch of excuses for this because we hate Megan Thee Stallion for a bunch of reasons. That's what I mean when I say I hate a lot of what rap music is, because sadly, that's also part of it. That's a very rap music fan thing to be like, nah, this woman is lying, and we're all going to support the abuser because we can. What? No, I would much rather it be a space where it's more likely to see things like this getting called out. Again, though, multiple things can be true. That doesn't mean everybody who listens to rap music feels this way. That's not how I felt. That's not how most of the people I was talking to felt at all. But yeah, rap as like a bastion for a bunch of nasty and weird attitudes just festering and never being cut out. Please just excise these from our community. We will move forward. It will be so much better. The baby and his nasty homophobia. still trying to have a career or whatever. Sadly, that is so rap. It is homophobic. It is misogynist. It is a lot of things. And I cry about it every day. Someone said, do you listen to Cupcake though? Yeah, I do. Someone said rap is kind of built on misogyny, unfortunately. Yeah, no, it is though. It's inextricable. I think to talk about it and not acknowledge the misogyny of it, you're not even really talking about it then. You're talking about some version of rap that you made up in your head. It absolutely is tied to misogyny, sadly. Again, that kind of thing, sadly, it boxes things in too much though, because that doesn't change the fact that you have a lot of amazing rappers who are, this is gonna surprise some of y'all, women. Like, dude, you can't tell me that some of the greatest rappers of all time are not the women, like Lil Sims or Doechii right now popping off. I know that Lauryn Hill is a very controversial figure, and I'm not advocating for her personal anything, but just Lauryn Hill having made a lot of iconic music, Missy Elliott, you know what I mean? All of these people, like, so simultaneously, you got something that is incredibly misogynistic, but is also literally being innovated by women a lot of the times. So it's like, how do I even talk about this thing without sounding like I'm missing another big part of the conversation? So yeah, rap is absolutely a complex topic. It's hard to think about. It's hard to talk about. I can't throw it away. I can't just be like, no, we're not going to do rap when you have people like this who are still making it. When you have a lot of black men making rap music that is not misogynist, frankly. Maybe not a lot, but they definitely exist. It's not solely a tool of this, but yeah. So Lil Kim, yes, absolutely, Lil Kim. For real. Like, I don't know, man, it's rough. Nicki Minaj, starting off the way she did, as iconic as she was, and then going down that dark path and keeping not majority, but still keeping enough of her fan base to be relevant with them. Sadly, it's very rap. That's very rap music fan coded. Nah, it's a mess, man. It's truly a mess. Someone said Eve did her thing back then. She definitely did. But yeah, no, that's my stance on rap. Like, I love it. I do. It's in me, I guess. But like, I can't really co-sign any of the stuff that y'all be doing because it's actually crazy as hell. And it is as bad as some people say. And again, forgive me for taking most or listening to most of my criticism of rap from people within the community. Listen, if you're outside, if you're not black, and you're criticizing rap music, that's fine. It's a thing that exists. But I'm not gonna lie, it gets a lot of rap. It gets a bad rap from people who are racist too, though. That's the thing. There's a lot of just racist people who are like, oh, this is not real music, and this is not real music, and this is not real music, and this is not real music, because it's black people making it. And we're going to make up reasons as to why it's not as complex as other things. It's not as elevated. It's not as valid, etc. So I still get really tired sometimes of hearing rap criticized. And if someone starts doing it, I'm definitely going to need to know what exactly your problem is with it. But if your problem is like the elephant in the room, then yes, I would have to agree with you. Someone said, what do you think of Nicki? I can't believe this is our timeline. I try not to talk about her. And I try not to think about her because it's not pushing the situation towards anything good. I think like she was so iconic for real though. Like, it was really cool. I'm not saying Nicki Minaj was somebody who was always a great role model or whatever. It's just hard to overstate how, like, I don't know. It's tricky because she has a really large queer fan base due to just her aesthetics and really resonating with a lot of queer people, and then turned around and became MAGA. So no, I don't condone anything that she's doing. She deserves to be called out, obviously. It's just also really sucks that I was definitely like one of those people who, when I was younger, I found a lot of like I don't know, self-expression through the things that she was doing, because I wasn't thinking about them too deeply. I was just some confused teenager. And then just seeing this, I'm just like, I really got played. I got played. Is how I feel. So yeah, no, we're definitely not Nicki Minaj fans over here. Or I mean, you can be if you want to, but I don't think it's gonna fare well for you. I definitely don't. Someone said it's so sad. Someone said she betrayed somebody for fans. It very much feels like a betrayal. I mean, that's parasocial, but I don't care. I'm sorry. I don't care. Me, as a young queer black kid who did not know that about himself, just seeing this community of people just loud out and about and proud of the thing that they were listening to, and her seemingly embracing this helped a lot. But that doesn't change the fact that she turned into somebody who has to be called out, obviously. That's a mess. That's the mess of it. Someone said, I love Nicki. I feel played too. Yeah, I feel played, but that again, I'm not going to hold on to some feeling that was important to me when I was a teenager just so I can excuse bigotry happening in front of my face right now. And I wish a lot of y'all would be on that timing. I wish more of the world would be on that timing. Stop holding on to feelings that you had when you were a child as a reason to excuse the bigotry that's occurring in front of your grown self as we speak. Because y'all look really dumb for that, frankly. You do. That's how I feel about trying to support Nicki Minaj in this day and age. That's how I feel about like you can, by the way, you can like Harry Potter, for example. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I'm literally talking about like, I'm going to give money to J.K. Rowling on purpose. Dog, you don't even have to do that. You can like Harry Potter for free. You can like Harry Potter without paying J.K. Rowling money that she's going to turn around and invest into anti-trans lobbying. You can appreciate what Nicki Minaj's music meant for you without actually paying to stream it. But alas, what do I know? Nothing, I guess. And I still am not perfect. I'm not on a high horse. I know that there's things that I'm absolutely missing the point on, probably just due to my own feelings. But I try not to. I try not to. Someone said, try being a former fan of Kanye West. Exactly. Don't let whatever Kanye's music meant to you, even if it was life-changing and important stuff for you when you were younger, be a reason to excuse Nazism, anti-Semitism, anti-blackness, any of this nasty allegations of assault, and any of these nasty things that Kanye does or has been alleged to do. So there's no reason to do it. You don't have to do it. Reading chat. Someone says, I donated my book since I'd rather someone buy them used than give money to J.K. Rowling. Yeah, no, I feel like my stance on it, it's not like in the middle or anything. I just feel like don't support her, but also there's just, you don't even have to do that. I personally, chat, don't believe there's anything wrong with reading Harry Potter. I don't see how that could really be a bad thing, I guess. In a vacuum in which you didn't really pay J.K. Rowling to do that. These are stories that still exist. I would say the same thing about the movies. Like, you don't really have to stream them on HBO or wherever they are if you enjoy these movies. I don't think it makes you transphobic to do these things at all. But sadly, it's easier to express your love for these things by paying the people who created them directly, and people are unwilling to go those extra steps. And that's where I feel like maybe we should have a conversation about why like your nostalgia could somehow be more important than like the safety of other people, I guess, is my stance on that. Yeah, to this day, if somebody was like, I really liked Harry Potter when I was a kid, I'm not going to get weirded out or even really assume anything about them. But there's levels to this, for real. For real. Someone says, I think as long as you aren't giving them new money or promo, it's fine. That's how I feel. Like, I really do feel that way. Someone said, it's so easy to find Harry Potter stuff secondhand. Literally, because so much of the stuff was printed too. Like, dog, just, I don't know, go pick it up anywhere else. And it's fine. Someone said libraries have the books and you can often get the movies from them too. You absolutely can. And someone said, this is the reason I refuse to buy any of the Peter Pan official books, even though it's a special interest of mine, and that book was written 100 years ago. Pirating is better than funding bigotry. I would agree. Pirating things is better than funding bigotry. That's my opinion. I mean, pirating things isn't really that bad of a thing in the first place at all, in most cases. I really do. Someone said, very much, I love this thing, but I don't love its creator. Yeah, no, you have to... Yeah, that's it. There's nothing wrong or immoral about that, I guess. Maybe some people have the stance of, I guess you shouldn't like interact with these things at all, but I never have really seen that, if I'm being honest. It's mostly people just being like, we don't really need to keep paying J.K. Rowling to do this. No, thank you. Someone said, I do still find it weird when grown-up adults still continue to be active in the Harry Potter fandom. It feels like they don't care about my well-being at all. This is really tricky, right? Because like J.K. Rowling also doesn't believe that I exist as an ace person and a non-binary person. She's been horribly ace-phobic online too. And I guess it's like, I have to side-eye Harry Potter merch in public. I have to side-eye it. I'm not going to say anything to you, but like your decision, I guess, to proudly be associated with this publicly, it's going to raise my eyebrows, and I just can't help myself because there's an equal chance, 50-50, that you are aware of everything and you don't care, or, excuse me, maybe you're not. I know this sounds crazy to say, but actually not everybody knows exactly what the things J.K. Rowling has said. I feel like people don't even realize the extent of like the ace phobia and all this other stuff too. But like, yeah, I do still just find it to be like, was there no other sweater you could have grabbed? Did it actually have to be a little bit of a Ravenclaw mood today? Is this what we're wanting to project to the world? I don't know. That's just me, dog. That's just me. Personally. Someone said J.K. Rowling destroyed whatever good memories I had of the Harry Potter books. Can't even look at Harry Potter anymore because of what's said and done. It's disappointing. Yeah, no, it's really bad when your happy memories of something get kind of overwritten by the actions of the creator after the fact, revealing themselves to be awful. Someone says, unpopular opinion, it's unethical to engage with that IP. So you mean like at all? Even if it didn't result in money being given to J.K. Rowling? I guess that's where we would disagree. I don't think it's unethical to stream as in pirate, to not stream, but I don't think it's unethical to consume something that was made by someone who was problematic. I do think when you're normalizing their behavior or contributing to their financial success, it is. But yeah, no, I don't know. I guess because too, like in school, I'm just thinking about school. We literally had to consume so much stuff from people who were like racist, or misogynist or whatever. I mean, a lot of these people were like long dead. And what I told myself in school was like, there is still utility in learning what I can glean from this. I can just throw out all the parts of it that are bad. So I guess maybe I was brainwashed in college, and I have a pretty lax attitude towards the idea of consuming things that are from people who are bad. I just have a strong stance on paying the people who made those things when it's not necessary. Someone said there are no shortage of other books about wizards. I'm sure you can literally just read Ursula K. Le Guin. That's always the right answer. Just give up what you're doing and go read an Ursula K. Le Guin book right now. I swear to God, she has something that is as good as whatever you're looking for. She was so good, dude. So good at her job, for real. Someone said, is it bad to still wear old merch from a problematic IP at home? Absolutely not. I've literally been to people's houses and they come out. Look, everyone has to draw their line. I've had people show up and they're like, I'm wearing this old Hogwarts t-shirt. It has a hole in it. I just want you to know I bought this forever ago and it was the only thing clean. Chat, I'm not judging anybody off of that. You can if you want to. I just feel like, to me, no. literally I've had people tell me like, I would literally never wear this out loud. I'm like, dog, it is a shirt. You're not making a political statement by wearing a shirt in your home. Don't worry about it. I appreciate you telling me this, I guess, but like, I wasn't thinking you were walking out here trying to like dog whistle that you want to hate crime me or something. That's me. I don't care if you're wearing your Harry Potter merch at home, because if you bought it beforehand, it's not that big of a deal at all. Someone said, ooh, Gaiman, I can't quit his work, but I'm not giving him my money either. Yeah, Neil, oh, yikes. Yeah, that's just rough, man. It really, really is. Someone said, I was a big fan. Wait, someone said, I think any support is support. Well, I think the thing is, objectively, if you're wearing an old t-shirt, you're not supporting Harry Potter, I guess. Especially if you're wearing an old t-shirt in your own home with a disclaimer to your house guest, me, that you're not endorsing anything. It's literally just not support. Or I guess if you feel like it is, that's maybe a divergence in opinion. But like, if you're telling me literally this is just a shirt, and I will believe you. I really, really will. Sometimes as an adult, I do not care. Yeah, I don't know. Again, like I should maybe care more about this just being in the demographics I'm in, but like we do have to face the truth that Harry Potter did exist before we knew what the problem was. And whereas you can, I guess, certainly donate or destroy or whatever, like, I don't know, man. Someone said you're just wearing an old t-shirt. Yeah, you're literally just wearing an old t-shirt. Like, I don't care, dog. I don't. Someone said, how loudly are you supporting it? Reading a book, privately supporting it to other people, it depends. Yeah, I judge it on a case-by-case basis. I don't think you can just draw lines with these things. Or maybe you can, but I personally don't do it. Reading chat. Someone said, just write on the shirt you got it before the bigotry. Yeah, no, like, besides, like, y'all don't have a group of, like, inside clothes versus outside clothes. Because I definitely have some clothes that I would never wear inside or outside. They're literally not for other people to ever see me in. They're not statements. They're not part of my image. They're not associated, I guess, with what I'm trying to project or signal to the world. I have clothes like that. I wear a lot of cool clothes, or at least I tried to, which is funny coming from someone who's worn the same outfit or a variation of it 50 times this year on camera. But like, you can't judge me off my old clothes. You really, really can't. Someone said most of my clothes are inside clothes this way. Listen, if my old clothes are an old ratty Harry Potter t-shirt from the before times, you can't judge me off that, bro. I didn't do anything wrong. I really didn't. Someone said laundry day fits. Literally. Literally laundry day. Someone said I call them my gremlin clothes. Yeah. But that's just me. Again, you got to go off of this on a case-by-case basis for real. Someone said, me, y'all wouldn't catch me in broad daylight looking crazy. Y'all would never so much as sense me approaching while wearing any of my inside clothes. Because I be looking ratty as hell. I really, really do. Someone said, I disassembled my Harry Potter earrings and remade them with beads from the bead swap. They're now pride earrings. That I like, though. That's pretty fire. Someone says living near Universal Studios makes judging extra hard. I bet. Someone said Twilight has a lot of native racism as an example, but me personally, I have no issue as long as they don't excuse said racism. That's a good example too, though. Like, oh man, Twilight is actually kind of, well, racist. Unfortunately, in many different ways, as you mentioning, the one form of racism, there's also just like Stephanie Meyer's weird thing about skin color and vampires and just some weird, Civil War stuff going on in there. But at the same time, this IP having parts of it that were obviously just racist doesn't actually mean I genuinely believe that people supporting Twilight are gladly ignoring all of those things. I don't know. It's really, really tricky. If you are somebody who wants to tell me to my face that Stephanie Meyer does not have a weird thing about skin color and vampires, and actually the handling of like Native people was completely fine, and I shouldn't be criticizing Twilight or whatever, yeah, we're gonna have a problem. But I do feel like most people, almost everyone I've ever met who has liked Twilight has been the first person to tell me everything that is wrong with it. Someone said Myers is weird. Stephanie Myers is just a weird one in general for some of the stuff she put in that book. Like, I genuinely don't understand. Well, I do understand. But yeah, I don't know. I just, it becomes like this thing where I don't want to sound like I'm capitulating or whatever, but to a certain extent, almost everything that I engage with is certainly created by people who on some level I disagree with. I run into this issue a lot with, now, careful how I'm wording this. I'm not trying to just write off an entire country's media. I'm just using this because it's a really clear and easy example. I run into this a lot with like JRPGs and anime, just because this is something I probably consume more of than other things. And there are things that are normalized in anime and also like Japanese games and stuff that are just horrible. They're so bad. And I don't really feel like me necessarily playing Final Fantasy or like taking a break to tell you how excited I am about it is me operating off the premise that any weird representation, which you absolutely get some weird stuff in Final Fantasy games with some of the female characters. But like, I don't know. I guess the question becomes like, where do you draw the line, honestly? I would be the first to tell you that I absolutely hate and goodbye. I despise so many of the creative decisions that are made by Square. Number one for me would be, because this is my favorite Final Fantasy game. What do you do when your favorite game in the series has some of what I consider to be the worst representation ever? I mean, some may disagree with me. Maybe you like vanilla and I'm like reading too much into this, but I swear to God, dang, she has her own Wikipedia page. I swear to God, the way that this character is portrayed, and yes, unfortunately sexualized, is terrible. It's so bad. It makes me uncomfortable. I think the issue is like I played this game when I was a kid first and then forgot all of that stuff that was in there. And then later I go back and I mention Final Fantasy 13 and I think about it and I'm like, oh, but watch out for that one thing that's in there because it's a little weird. And by a little weird, I mean pretty bad, actually. And you know what? Maybe I should just tell you. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just too used to doing that with every single IP. Someone said 13 favorite, not a common thing to hear. Yeah, I'm one of the few Final Fantasy fans who 13 is his favorite game. I don't think it's a good game, and I don't even think it's the best one. I think 10 is probably the best, but 13 is my fave. What can I say? Someone said, I love her, but you're also so right. You would understand what I mean if you're like a fan of this character. You know that like she's a good character in spite of what they're doing. And that is how I feel about so many times where you get these problematic representations where like it's not the character's fault that they're being created in the context of somebody who is doing something problematic. But yeah, I don't excuse any of the weird stuff that happens in Final Fantasy. I don't excuse anything Stephanie Meyer did. You won't catch me dead doing that. But I still like Twilight and I still like Final Fantasy. And I don't assume that people who consume these things are problematic, I guess. It's tricky. It's very tricky. Someone said I loved 15. 15 is also not a fan favorite, but I liked that game as well. I really did. Someone said the soundtrack of 13 is some of the best. Yes, let's go. Someone said Final Fantasy 9, the wokest Final Fantasy and my comfort game. I just replayed it and it holds up. Let's go. I think here's how I would put this though, just to summarize all of this and to make my stance kind of clear. At some point, you have to draw a line with what you're willing to excuse. At the end of the day, if I know that something has maybe something racist in it, but I choose to watch it anyway, I've excused it on a level where I am willingly ignoring that for the duration of me consuming it. I think in a world where everything, frankly, and I do mean everything, is created by a person who probably will have some level of bias or something problematic, every person has to decide where they're drawing that line. I feel like, sadly, most people are very lax with that line. And they'll be like, we don't care if this person is like actively a bigot. They are currently and actively doing bad things. I just want to give it money because my line's all the way over here. My line is probably somewhere closer to over here. But the truth of the matter is, it's not over here. Over here, I guess, would be me never consuming, engaging with, or platforming anything that was problematic ever. But like, even with me trying to be woke as hell, I just don't think that's possible. I don't think it is. So it doesn't mean I have to give up and go give $1 million to J.K. Rowling, right? Doesn't mean I have to give up and go make a playlist and stream a bunch of Kanye and Nicki songs. I'm not doing any of that. But sadly, I've had to draw my line somewhere. And yeah, that means things fall through the cracks. But I don't know, dog. I really don't know. Someone said there's simply no ethical consumption under capitalism. Yeah, if you could, I guess, not you specifically, because no one here, I don't think, is disagreeing with me. But like, if somebody could point to a way where you don't have to draw a line and everything you consume is good, that would be great. But I think it would be quite misguided to believe that that's an even attainable thing. I just get annoyed when people think that just because it's not attainable and there is no ethical consumption, that means that you should not try to consume ethically under capitalism. I hate that. That's the wrong conclusion. When people are just like, oh, there's no ethical consumption, so I'm just going to give up and stream whatever I want or pay for whatever I want. I think that's a pretty bad way of going about it. But as long as you are literally trying to have some sort of consistent baseline, I tend not to judge people. That's me. Someone said you need to assess if a thing is influencing your worldview or if you can engage and hold that distaste. Someone said there are tons of media that are ethical. I mean, yeah, there definitely are. But at the end of the day, like, it's all still created by people and there just isn't anybody. There's not a person making a thing that I 100% will put my money on and be like, it's always going to be fine to support this thing. I know this is going to sound crazy as hell for me to even say this. But I've had to sit with the discomfort, and this makes me very uncomfortable, by the way. I've had to ask myself, D'Angelo, what if at some point even Haley Williams, I don't know, got possessed or something, and Paramore itself became associated with things that you don't support? Are you ready? Are you ready to acknowledge that? Sadly, yes. I think I would have to do it. I can't even really rely on the things that I consider to be ethical to actually be safe. I don't know. Haley Williams seems fine, and I feel proud to be a Paramore fan, and I appreciate their politics and stuff, but she's still a person. I don't know, dog. I really don't. I don't trust. You can only trust people and things so far, I guess. I don't know. That's how I feel. I really let myself down when I tried to be like, finally, these are the good things made by the good people. It never ended well. It really never ended well. So even though I have my people who I may consider to be making the good things, I just got to be like, she's still a person. She absolutely could have something that she's just totally wrong on. Because I also have those things, by the way, too, which really sucks. I try not to, but alas. Someone said exactly, we don't know any of these people. Yeah, no, I don't know, man. I really don't know. But again, still try, though. I feel like a good place to start is if things actually become synonymous with bigotry, it's a good time to stop supporting it. Those baby steps, kind of the bare minimum. But you know, like Kanye West becoming synonymous with Nazism and inextricable, it was already time to stop listening to Kanye, if I'm being honest. Great time to stop listening to Kanye. Dare I say, Harry Potter, it has become synonymous with J.K. Rowling's transphobia. Great time to not pay her when you know what she's doing with that money. So I don't know. It's also annoying and cringe, dog. It's so bad. Someone said me with Billie Eilish. Yeah, no, she's like, Billie Eilish seems to really be lit. She seems to have everything like going good in terms of like a good head on your shoulders and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. You also shouldn't. I realize now I'm getting into a space where it's going to sound like I'm starting to make excuses for myself, but I'm just going to say it. You shouldn't need anybody to be flawless, because it's just not gonna work out well. It's really not gonna work out well. Someone said, "You still listen to Michael Jackson?" No, I can't. It's just gross to me. I can't. I literally cannot listen to Michael Jackson. I can't listen to Chris Brown. I can't listen to R. Kelly. Absolutely not. This is gross. These people have become an idea in my head, and so even if I was parroting their stuff or it was just personal enjoyment, I don't want to hear that. It's just gross, man. I can't stand these people. Nasty. Someone said don't put people on the pedestal in general, in my opinion. Yeah, no, you shouldn't do it. But again, if your like main point is genuinely that maybe people should try harder to consume things ethically, I will always agree with that. I really, really, really will. It'll just split into a million different versions of what that means, obviously. Someone said, did you see the MJ Netflix doc in the backlash? I did not. I saw that a documentary had come out, but I didn't really get too much into the discourse of all that. Someone said Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah, no, that's nasty. Someone says the question is, can you still listen to Nicki? No, because I just get sad. Now, Nicki Minaj happens a lot around me. Sometimes like a song will come on when I'm out in the gym or whatever, and it's like, what can I really do about that? But just the idea of me sitting down and like wanting to hear Nicki Minaj rapping is just not. I just feel like there's so many other artists though. There's literally so many other people I could be listening to. An infinite number of people. And someone said Nicki makes me cringe so bad. Yeah, no, dog. Nah. Someone said this is specifically true for a lot of the old rock and roll artists in the 80s. Yeah, it really, really is. Now, granted, I do still hold, I absolutely maintain that once somebody's dead, it's free real estate. Listen, again, like I said, I literally don't listen to Michael Jackson. He's been dead for years, just as a personal thing. And like supporting the Michael Jackson estate when it is still an agent of harm, obviously a problem, right? But when you're talking about like, John Lennon, was problematic, true. He also dead as hell. So frankly, what can you do about that? What can you do about that? Someone says Starships has been hard to let go of. It's a good song. It's a good song. I do feel like low key. This is tricky. I feel as though some people can be performative when it comes to talking about the quality of work created by bad actors. Because sometimes I see what I consider to be revisionist history of like, oh, this wasn't even good anyway. And I'm like, okay, hold on a second. This captured the public imagination. Maybe that doesn't equal good in your mind, but for a split second, we didn't know how bad things really were. People did like this one thing. Now, again, using that as an excuse to go and excuse a bunch of nasty stuff, no. But I do find myself often disagreeing when people are just like, oh, this wasn't even that good anyway. And I'm like, it was that good. I think it's better to acknowledge that some people can create things that were good and still be bad. It'll make it less surprising the next time it happens. It's wild, man. Someone said, what did the Red Hot Chili Peppers do? It's the lead guy. He's a creep, right? Am I not wrong? He's like super creepy. What is his name? Anthony Kiedis? I don't know. Sorry, because I don't really listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. But I thought it was like grooming or something. I don't know. If somebody knows more than me, correct me about that, please. I think. I think. Reading chat. Someone says a lot of that with Dave Chappelle and Kanye. They both suck, but we don't have to lie. Yeah, they were funny, I guess. But like, I also saw someone say like, don't idolize them. It's also, we have to realize being funny or a talented singer or whatever shouldn't be grounds for you to be idolized. That's another thing I think this would save a lot of us. It would make the discourse easier to have. Yeah, somebody might have been really good at what they were doing, but that doesn't mean they should be on a pedestal or seen as greater than or more deserving than other people. And then we wouldn't be running into these issues with trying to excuse all of this nonsense in the first place, is how I feel, personally. Someone said the Imagine Dragons guys aren't creeps to my knowledge. I haven't heard anything bad about them. Imagine Dragons seems to stay in their lane. Shout them out. I don't really listen to them that much. Someone said, I'm still annoyed that the Red Hot Chili Peppers got their own episode on Love, Death, and Robots. Someone said, it's true, sometimes there are wretched people who make some really awesome art, and it's not fair. I think the thing is, you're going to experience a lot of pushback when you start saying things like this, because most people are used to hearing this in the context of excusing bad behavior. So that's also why I don't go around saying things usually. Like Michael Jackson's music actually was iconic and important. I spend most of my energy saying things like, oh no, excusing pedophilia is bad and you should feel ashamed for doing that. I don't spend too much of my time saying Kanye West was a good producer. He really, really was, and quite influential. I spend much more of my time saying, hey, if somebody's coming out just trying to be the biggest Nazi you've seen in a long time, they should be deplatformed. So it's like I also can get wary of people trying to go too hard in the direction of acknowledging the good or whatever when we're mostly in spaces trying to talk about the bad. But like in this specific case, a neutral chat like we're having right now, I'm not gonna like ban you for saying, even though I think Michael Jackson was a creep, some of the music was good. Yeah, it was objectively, or well, music can't be good objectively, but like, I don't know. You have to strip back so many layers of context before I would start thinking or stop thinking you're just a weirdo. It's so interesting. Someone said, in terms of Harry Potter, I just disliked it as a child. Funnily enough, I was a C.S. Lewis kind of guy, which I don't think was better. I don't know much about C.S. Lewis, and maybe I don't want to know. But I love the Chronicles of Narnia as a kid more, I think, than Harry Potter. And that's why I got sad that all the Harry Potter kids got to have all their movies. But I, as a Chronicles of Narnia kid, never got to see his series finished. I will be angry about that forever. Let's talk about it. Let's get into the real, I mean, obviously the real reasons J.K. Rowling is problematic are many, but let's get into what I've always considered to be the real issue with Harry Potter's movies. How many of these are there? Wikipedia. Film series. Great. Great. So you all got to have Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, The Chamber of Secrets, The Prison... Wait, are these movies? Yes. The Prisoner of Azkaban, The Goblet of Fire, The Order of the Phoenix, The Half-Blood Prince, and the 1-2 punch of The Deathly Hallows. And you were all so happy, so pleased with yourselves. I just felt it. Just the radiating smugness of a Harry Potter fan who got to see the entire series on screen. Not jealous at all. And then me, as a fan of the Chronicles of Narnia... Yeah, films. What did I get as a child? Crumbs. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Prince Caspian. The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. And then nothing. Where was the Silver Chair? Where was the Magician's Nephew? Where was the Horse and His Boy? Where was the Last Battle? Were those films simply not as important to make as the rest of the Harry Potter series? I do realize technically that would have been really difficult because they're not really related. They're not like a straight through story involving the same character. So all of those movies probably would have bombed. But I've been bitter about this for years. And these movies ate though. They ate 745 milli worldwide in 2006 is crazy. So 400 million for the second, 400 million for the third. They weren't even doing that poorly. I think this movie made its money back. It did. That's 3x just at the box office, bro. I don't even understand why they just gave up on Narnia like that. But, however, I'm holding out hope that my childhood dreams will finally come true because Greta Gerwig, the director of Barbie, is doing the Chronicles of Narnia for Netflix, which I have mixed feelings about. But hold on. Netflix officially confirms the fate of... Wait, confirms the fate? That makes it sound like it's not happening. Oh, okay. That's clickbait. To be distributed internationally by Sony Pictures. So there's hope for us, the Chronicles of Narnia fans who have been patient since, and I literally cannot stress this enough, 2010. I've been waiting for 16 years for more Narnia content, and it's finally happening. Yay! Someone said Gerwig's great. I think it's safe in her hands for sure. I'm not scared that she's gonna like do something weird, or maybe she will do something weird, and that'll be just what it needs. Someone said I loved Aragon. I don't even want to hear it. Oh, okay, that's rough, because that's a level of disappointment in terms of not getting material that does go far beyond Narnia. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Someone said I think it's filming right now, if I recall. I'm just happy because like we're getting a lot more fantasy stuff. We're getting that. We're getting the new live action Legend of Zelda movie, which I'm excited about. I just like seeing like live action fantasy stuff. I feel like it's an underdone space, honestly, unexplored. Someone said, am I the only person who disliked Barbie? I liked the movie. It wasn't one of my favorite movies, but I thought it was good. Someone said Netflix nailed in the coffin to Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, that's the part that I'm scared about. I'm not like worried over the idea of Gerwig doing this. I'm more so worried about this being a Netflix production, because when has that literally ever ended well? Never. It's never ended well. Someone said I didn't care for it, and then someone else said I loved Barbie. The duality of humanity. No, I feel like either is valid. I didn't think it was like the greatest film of all time, but I didn't think it was bad. Someone said I'd be happy about an animated fantasy too. Animated anything though, to be fair. Well, true, animation is also like, even though it seems like there's a lot of animated movies, there's really not. And especially not like for adults too. So I don't know. I love animation as well, or the medium. I don't like doing animation because everyone who does animation is frankly unhinged. I've talked about this before as an artist. I was an illustrator, not an animator, and we all knew in our art circles, our friends who just drew normally, we probably had issues too, but our friends who actually animated things literally needed help. Like we appreciated their sacrifice. They were literally hand animating the craziest, like most beautiful things. But the amount of work that they actually were putting into their stuff, we're like, you're cracked. It's so over. It's so over. Someone said it was a gorgeous movie. In my opinion, set design goes insane. I will say the set design in the Barbie movie was like beautiful. It was great. Fantastic. Someone said, I understood Barbie, but I thought it was baby's first feminism. It was weak and very white feminism. That makes sense. I can't speak to it that much because I didn't think about it that deeply. I won't lie. And maybe that's kind of the point that you're getting at, is that it's an easy movie to not think about deeply. Someone said Barbie hit as someone with mom issues. Oof. Oof. Someone said, I just joined. What did I miss? Unfortunately, the entire stream. We talked about Millie Alcock from the new Supergirl series and how she seems to be totally fine, but people are like trying to hate on her because they're annoying anti-woke people. We talked about aging and getting older. We went through a big deep dive on music genres and which ones I like, and now we're talking about movies, I guess. Someone said, what adaptations did you really enjoy? What adaptations did I really enjoy? Hugo. Is that 2011? Yeah, buddy. The Scorsese film, even though I got mixed feelings on Scorsese, but let's put those in a box. I have truly enjoyed the film Hugo. It's a 2011 movie. Excuse me. Based off of a 2007 book, The Invention of Hugo Cabret. And I swear to God, low key, this movie is better than it has any business being. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Hugo is like, the movie is like overwhelmingly, it's painfully gorgeous to look at. I know that this sounds stupid, but I feel like the movie almost hurts to watch. Someone said, I hate this movie. Look, that's fair. I think someone else said it scares them. That's okay. For me, as a, well, how old was I in 2011? 13-year-old? Yeah, or probably even 12. Dog, I loved this movie. I really, really, really did. It was so magical. Someone said, I feel so seen right now. Yeah, that was one of my favorite adaptations for sure, because I just feel like it really captured the way it feels to read the book. Ah, so good. Someone said Hugo was literally my favorite movie as a tween. Real and true. I also used to call this my favorite movie. I literally, when I was in this age range, I would just be like, oh, my favorite movie is Hugo, period. And I also felt very grown up having a Scorsese flick as my favorite film when I was 12. So stupid. Someone said Hugo ate the house down boots. Someone said it was really pretty, but I can't remember the plot for the life of me. I genuinely don't even feel like this movie has a plot. Like, it has a mild conceit. Obviously there is a point, things occur, but I swear to God, the film is literally just eye candy. I don't know, man. Someone said the Polar Express will always be my guilty pleasure movie. Nah, screw guilty pleasure. Get rid of the guilt. The Polar Express is fire. Listen, the Polar Express is fire, okay? It's overhated. I agree that it's creepy looking. I agree the animation, dog, oh my God, it's a little uncomfortable. And by a little, I mean very. It is so uncanny valley. And yet, I still feel like this movie reaches, oh my God, that's so scary. The people are literally editing it to be scarier than it is. This movie literally reaches a level of camp that I feel like is underrated. Why was Tom Hanks everybody? Why was there a musical number on the train, but then there was no other music almost in the entire movie? Why does the movie feel so sad, dark, and desolate when it's supposed to be a children's film about Christmas? Why does this movie actually low-key make me want to cry? Not because I'm happy, but something about it is just so deeply melancholic. I genuinely don't understand a single choice that went into the Polar Express. I feel like at every turn, they just made the most baffling decision that they could. And that is why this movie is iconic. This movie's amazing. It really is. Someone said, I want to be the little girl so bad. The kids in this movie are cute. I was also a kid when this movie came out, and I liked it. It felt like a good, like, I don't know, adventure movie. But then I watched it when I was older, and I was like, oh, this one was weird. This is a weird movie. Someone said it's perfectly messed up, I think. It definitely feels very messed up in some weird way. Very like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory vibes of kids movie. Someone says Sonic Teeth ain't got nothing on Polar Express. Oh my God. I really can't, man. Someone says, I agree. It makes me feel like it's about Nowhere Land. Very, very odd feeling from this film, for sure. Someone says, I hate that movie. It's so boring. I think it is kind of boring. Yeah, I agree with you that it's boring. I rewatched it and I was like, nothing is literally happening in this movie. Like, there's no goal. The main character doesn't really want anything. It just all happens to him, but that's kind of the point. It lends that fever dream. Someone right there said fever dream vibes. Yeah, very much fever dream energy. Someone says, if we're talking Uncanny Valley, we should talk about the Tintin movie. Oh, dog. Another movie that was one of my favorites as a child. When was that? 2011? No, that can't be right. Oh, I was right. Okay, 2011 was just an odd year or something. I genuinely do not understand why they went with this weird mix of hyper realism and also intense stylization for the Tintin movie. It literally makes no sense. And yes, it does look weird. I'm sorry. It's just a weird looking movie, but it doesn't change the fact that when I was a kid, I loved Tintin. It made me go back and read the comics. And then I was like, oh, what's with all these weird depictions of African people? Actually, it's not just African people either. There's a lot of really awful things in the Tintin comics, but I loved Tintin as a kid. I don't care. This movie made me go back and watch the animated series. I went back and read every single Tintin comic that, what was his name? Hergé did? Whatever. I don't remember. It was great. It was fantastic. Someone said he looks like Tom Holland, low-key. I'd watch Tom Holland in the Tintin movie. Someone said Final Fantasy cutscene. It's, I guess, part of the reason that I wasn't super, like, put off by the way Tintin looks is because I was already used to this. Do y'all know what Advent Children is? See, y'all are out here freaking out, understandably, about I think was this 2005. Y'all are out here understandably freaking out about scary looking animation, but as Final Fantasy fans, we been had to deal with this. I can't find like a picture from the original Advent Children. Oh, here it is. Okay, there we go. Dog. It's been 20 years of scary, like bizarrely hyper realistic animation, uncanny valley nonsense that Square Enix is a really, really big fan of. So I was already coming into this as somebody who had watched this, was very familiar with like Final Fantasy style cutscenes. Tintin just looked normal to me. The Polar Express wasn't that weird looking. Someone says I was obsessed with that when I was younger. I loved the aesthetic of Advent Children so much. It was quite literally the coolest thing I had ever seen in my entire life. Nothing was this cool. Someone said I won't take this Advent Children slander. Hey, I'm not slandering it at all. I think it's beautiful for what they had at the time. It's actually very stunning. It's very impressive. It is still just kind of uncanny valley, I won't lie. So I still have that movie ripped on a flash drive and in my Google Drive. Let's go. I might go back and watch it for no reason, honestly. Someone said, personally, I'm so over the loss of stylization and the move towards realism for every damn game. I agree with you. I will take stylization over realism any day. This is clearly unpopular just based off of the kinds of games that get made en masse. But like, for example, Tears of the Kingdom versus, I don't know, freaking Call of Duty ? I can't really think of like these hyper realistic games because I don't play them. Like low key, I see that this is very realistic looking and that's cool, that's amazing, but I'm going to be real with you. I would take, let's see, I'm trying to find like a decent, this one's fine. I would literally take this over this any day. And this makes being a gamer a little bit of a struggle. Now I'm out here sounding like gamers are the most suppressed. No, it's a little hard being a fan of games when really you just want to get more and more of this, but you just keep getting more and more of that. And this is the thing that gets the crazy budgets and that most people think of when they think gaming or whatever. I vastly prefer stylization to hyperrealism in games to this day, current year. I would rather you come up with an interesting art style than come up with something that is super realistic. Why? I've said this before, probably because games have looked realistic for the last 10 or 20 years. Games don't look better now than they used to. Look. Horizon Zero Dawn. Why did I spell Dawn as if it was somebody's name? Literally came out almost 10 years ago. Listen, I literally cannot be clearer about this. Here's a picture. Games don't look better than this. Nothing has changed. Nothing has improved. I understand you might be like, oh, now the hair has twice as many follicles as it used to in 2017. Great. It was already too many to count. You have peaked. I truly believe realism in games has peaked almost 10 years ago. Let's see. God of War 2010s. I forget what the one I'm thinking of is. Or when it came out. Or is it Ragnarok I'm thinking of? I don't remember. But that one God of War game that came out, maybe it's Ragnarok that I'm thinking of. That was a long time ago. No, that was only 4 years ago. Okay, so this isn't the one. But the one that came out before Ragnarok literally looked so good, dude. It really, really did. What the hell is the one I'm thinking of? Hold on, give me a second. Games... God of War Remastered 2018. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's God of War 2018. Okay, hold on. God of War 2018. That's the one I was thinking of. Dude, swear to God, games don't look better than this. Nothing looks nicer now than it did in 2018. Or again, if it does, I certainly cannot tell literally at all. everything was already so like textured and the lighting was so impressive and everything moves so nicely. So please, someone said Detroit Become Human looks crazy as hell. I recently played this game, or recently as in earlier this year. Dude, this game came out in 2018, and again, you would be shocked at how like realistic and how well this animation has held up. And the reason it still looks good is because nothing has gotten better. Now, I know probably there's a lot of animators, or I don't know, people in the industry who would hear me say this and cringe because they're like, I have literally spent the last 5 years innovating new ways to show dust motes streaming through windows in video games, and you're saying nothing has changed. I'm saying respectfully, I would just rather see something that I can actually see as being different. That's how I feel personally. Someone said, didn't Nvidia come out with an AI slop filter recently? They did, and it's really bad. It's called oh god, what is it called? I forget what it's called. It's like SL5 or something. Hold on, let me see if I can find what I'm trying to find right now. Oh, okay, I called it DDSL. It's DLSS5. Is literally Nvidia's garbage AI filter that they're now slopping over top of games because they realized, I guess, that games are kind of peak. And so they're like, we're going to use AI to make the games look quote unquote better. And what is so stupid though is that it's literally changing the faces of the people, of the characters, and it's completely overwriting the graphics for some reason using AI to make the games look quote unquote better, and it literally looks worse 100% of the time. Here is DLSS 5 on, I don't know which game this is, but dude, this is so cringe that this is what people are trying to pass off as graphical upgrades. I don't want you to use AI to try to create more realistic versions. Oh god, this is just scary. So on the right here, we have the OG. And for some reason, we turned that into this. That is so weird looking. I genuinely do not understand the point of DLSS 5.0 or like who would actually be excited about this. I don't think I saw a single human say, yeah, we're so happy that this is real now. Someone says it looks like they're wearing a Snapchat filter. It is absolutely giving Snapchat filter. It is just bad. Someone said it looks bad. It literally looks bad. It is not good, man. The brightness. Yeah, no, it's a no for me, dog, for this whole AI improvements are the new way that we're going to fix graphics. Nah, go back and come up with cooler art styles. Not to say realism can't be a cool art style, but someone says it wrecks the art style. Literally. Anyways, that's all I got for today. Actually, I have more I could say about this, but let's save some in the tank. I have no idea what's going to happen between now and next Tuesday. Hopefully nothing bad or crazy, but maybe I'll come with a cool stream on Tuesday, or maybe there will be something wild to talk about. I never can predict it, and it certainly does make every single day an adventure, really. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for listening to like what I was saying. I feel like we covered some interesting topics today too, but yeah, the vibes were great. And I really look forward to streaming again next week. Look out for my video on Monday, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe I'm just like, I'm never posting again. No, just kidding. That's sad. Bye. Goodbye. All right.